Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
In a season of ups and downs, one thing has remained consistent for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks: strong baseball against the Falmouth Commodores. For the second straight summer, Mitch Carricker's squad enters the final game of a season series against a Cape League opponent without a loss. Last year, they sealed the deal against Harwich. This year, the challenge comes against Falmouth. And hello, everyone, from inside the broadcast booth here at Gov Fuller Field. I'm Max Schwarzberg alongside Giovanni Collada and Graham Nash. Welcome to Harbor Hawks Baseball. Well, Graham, Hyannis has surged to 4 consecutive victories against the Falmouth Commodores, and they've only trailed in one of the contests.
Yeah, that's been key for this Hyannis team, is making sure that it leads, because Falmouth has really struggled on both sides, when trailing and when leading. We saw the most recent game that Falmouth, playing with a lead, still struggled. Falmouth right now with a .198 average with a lead. And as we saw in that last game, they were ahead going into the 8th inning. Ashton Wilson in left field made a pretty bad error that allowed Jeff Lugie to get all the way over to second base. So playing with a lead, playing without a lead, it's all been pretty tough right now for Falmouth. But Hyannis has had success because it has led early.
And tonight, the Harbor Hawks will send 8 lefties to the mound, to the plate in Geo. They've had a great approach from the Southpaw's batter's box all season.
Disproportionate amount of lefties in the lineup, Max, and that's because that's the way this roster is built. All season long, Max, we've seen a slew of lefties in the lineup for Mitch Carricker. Recently, though, that hasn't been the case. This just the most lefties in the lineup in over 18 days for Hyannis back on July 11th. That's the last time you saw one natural righty in the lineup, but that bodes well for Hyannis, Max. This is a team with the best average as from lefty hitters this season, so going up against a Falmouth team it's already familiar with its best-handedness in the box tonight could bode well for Hyannis.
Well, I had a chance to catch up with Mitch Carricker before the game. Max Schwarzberg here with Hyannis manager Mitch Carricker. Coach, you entered tonight undefeated against the Commodores. What's allowed you guys to have success in the 4 games?
We've played well against them. We pitched well, played good defense. We've been able to scratch across enough runs to get some wins. They're fighting for their lives, and we're trying to put ourselves in a good position for the playoffs. So this is a really important game. I expect a good one tonight.
And you're one of the best hitting teams as left-handed hitters in the box, and you got 8 lefties in the starting lineup. What needs to be sound about their approach tonight?
Yeah, I think for us, swinging at the right pitches is going to be important. Take our walks when we get them. just put pressure on the defense as much as we can, and we'll see what happens.
And lastly, you got Carson Yasa going tonight. He's been a little bit wild in those last 2 starts. How does he get back in the zone tonight?
Yeah, I think he's been frustrated the last 2 outings. He's had a really good summer. Just the last couple outings have been a little bit rocky for him. So he's really excited for the opportunity tonight, and we're looking forward to him getting back on track.
Thank you so much, Coach. Guys.
Well, as mentioned, Mitch Carricker will send 8 left-handed hitters to the plate tonight, and Owen Prince will lead off with Jake Schaffner batting second. Jeff Luigi bats third with Ryan McKay batting fourth. Gabe Camacho in the 5-hole with Charlie Bates batting sixth. The only righty in the starting lineup, Miles Davis, bats seventh with Brody Briggs and Sawyer Black back-to-back lefties to face the starting pitcher on the mound, Jeremy Urena. Previously at Rhode Island, will be transferring to FIU, and his first pitch is on the inside corner to Owen Prince. 0-1, 5:59, 1 minute early. Prince 2 for 5 last night with a double. I was back in the first inning against Katuitt, and there's a backdoor breaking ball on the outside corner, and Urena jumps ahead, 0-2.
And it already looks like Urena, one of those guys that depends on his movement, back-to-back breaking pitches. That could be interesting for Hyannis' team that really depends on a fastball.
0-2, fastball misses just inside. Bear Harrison behind the plate wanted it. First pitcher, Urena. Two games, 2 starts for the right-hander, a 1.8 earned run average in 5 innings. So he hasn't stretched too far. 1-2 skips in. That was the curveball, and the count level at 2. And it's good to see Owen Prince work it back to an even count, Graham, especially after falling behind so early.
Yeah, Prince is a guy that can really use his eye. We haven't seen him do it a lot because he's been hitting so well this season.
On a 2-2, Prince reaches for it and taps it back to the mound. Urena is ready, and he fires to first in time. 1-3 put out gets us started here in Falmouth, and Jake Schaffner coming up to the plate. Schaffner up to the plate now, one of 6 consecutive lefties to start off the day for Mitch Carricker. But as we talked about at the top of the show, Hyannis loves hitting from that left-handed batter's box. First in the Cape League in average and OPS, 259 on the average, 726 on the OPS. So we have a brief stoppage of play right here. Schaffner, of course, the first time the Harbor Hawks played at Guff Fuller Field, and he taps the first pitch to first base on the backhand. Kent Schmidt runs it over to the bag himself in time for the second out of the inning. Well, as I was saying, Schaffner, of course, suffered that injury back on June 24th here, missed 8 games, and ever since coming back, he's been nails.
Yeah, he's been red hot. Currently working a 10-game on-base streak. He did struggle yesterday, though, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, so I really like the aggression from Schaffner right away, swinging at an early pitch. Just kind of got on top of it, rolled it over to Schmidt, but I like the aggression. We haven't seen that too much from Schaffner lately.
Jeff Luigi up to the plate for the first time tonight. The Duke Blue Devil takes a fastball on the inside corner, 0-1. Luigi, the team lead in batting average among active players at .313. Hyannis has lost a lot of firepower and offense this summer. 0-1, fastball misses well away, 1-1.
I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's been nails since getting to Hyannis. I think Jeff Luigi is going to be top of that list. He's only been held hitless in back-to-back games once.
Count at 1-1, and the pitch from Urena is launched to right center field. Caden Brumbaugh on the run towards the warning track. He slides, and he's not able to make the catch. Luigi trots into second base with a 2-out double, and Hyannis grabs a base runner in scoring position early.
And that's a big reason for a lot of his success. He places it so well. That one right in the gap between right and center field. He hit it very, very well. It floated a little bit, giving Brumbaugh a chance over and right to make the charge, but he just couldn't quite get it. Luigi is on an unbelievable tear.
Scoreless here in the top of the first inning. Harbor Hawks and Commodores for the 5th and final time during this regular season. Of course, Hyannis 4-0 against Falmouth and looking to continue that narrative tonight. With Luigi on second, Ryan McKay at the plate, The first pitch is a backdoor breaking ball in there for strike one. Lugia guy came 2 weeks into the season. Ryan McKay's been there since day one, Graham, and he's made an impact the entire summer.
He has. He's been a mainstay, and what these teams need at this point in the season especially.
And he swings and taps one to center field. Antonio Morales into the gap, makes the catch for the final out of the inning. Hyannis with a 2-out double, but they're not able to score. They leave one on base as we'll head to the bottom of the first.
Your future begins at Dean College.
Make a difference.
Leave your mark.
Break the mold.
Be a leader.
Achieve unimagined heights.
Believe in yourself.
Make lifelong friends.
This is your time.
Your place.
Your home. Your Dean.
It all starts here at Dean College.
Harbor Hawks don't score in the top of the first inning. Now in the bottom here at Gov Fuller Field. We'll take you through the home Falmouth Commodores lineup. Mike Anu leads off with Antonio Morales and Kent Schmidt to follow. Bear Harrison in the cleanup spot with Justin Osterhaus batting fifth. Adrian Lopez bats sixth with Reese Maroney batting seventh. Caden Brumba will bat eighth with Chris Newstrom rounding out the starting nine for Falmouth. And on the mound for Hyannis, Carson Yassa, their everyday ace, Graham.
Yeah, Carson Yassa, he's been the number one guy for now 5 starts, but his last 2 have been a little bit tricky. Going back to his last time against this Falmouth team on July 18th, went 4 innings, allowed 3 hits and 3 runs, which were all earned, and then backed it up with a start against Catuit that wasn't much better. 3 1/3, allowing 2 hits and 3 runs with 5 walks over his last 2 starts, 9 combined walks. And to get through the 3 1/3, he had to throw 81 pitches. The Kettleers did such a good job of getting to him quickly and raising his pitch count. He struggled.
Well, Carson Yassa did pick up the loss against those Kets last time out, and he's going to face Micah New to lead it off. The DH today, and he squibs the first pitch foul down the first base side. New kind of reflective of the way things have gone for Falmouth as of late, because this is a guy who is a prolific Cape League All-Star, the league leader in OPS for quite some time with 7 home runs, but hasn't hit a home run in over a month, and that OPS has dropped from over 1,200 to 890. And a Falmouth team that is just spiraling out of control with 5 games left in the regular season. On an 0-1, New takes a breaking ball a little bit downstairs, and the count level at 1.
Yeah, Micah New won for his last 14 at the plate, but that one hit coming last night against YD, so going to try to turn that into a bit of momentum.
1-1 the count, and he flies one foul off to the right out of play. And for Yassa, it's just about jumping ahead early, because in those first couple starts of the season, he was able to get into pitchers' counts pretty easily, and that was one of the reasons why he was so successful. But as of late, 4 walks in each of his last 2 starts. And a 1-2 count and a fastball downstairs.
Yeah, he only allowed 1 earned run over his first 3 starts. He was really, really solid. And that was with allowing 6 walks. He just kind of cleaned things up when he got in trouble. That's what he wasn't able to do against Falmouth and Catuit in his past 2 starts.
2-2. The breaking ball is fouled over to us, and we'll do it again. This is a Falmouth team with 3 lefties in the starting lineup, but they really struggle specifically against right-handed pitching. And as we mentioned, last in the Cape League in both average and OPS at 198 and 622 against right-handed pitchers. 2-2 count, and the breaking ball misses downstairs, so the count will run full to the leadoff hitting New. Previously at Mercer, will be transferring to Arkansas. Will join forces with Hyannis' Hunter Dietz. On a 3-2 count, New taps it foul over by the left side, and we'll do it again. The battle continues. And for Yassa, it's been the walks that have really come out to bite him. And as I mentioned, that walks per 9 has risen steadily over the last couple starts. It's now at 8.1. Again in the 3-2 count. The pitch misses downstairs, ball 4. A free pass to start the day, and Micah New had to earn it, a lengthy plate appearance.
And it's been plate appearances like these that have been the Achilles heel for Yasa. He'll get ahead, but then slowly it just kind of starts to unravel. A ball here, a ball there, then the count runs full, and he has a tough time pinpointing it to where he can get those kinds of hitters to strike out. I mean, the more Micah New sees of a pitcher, the more comfortable he's going to get in a box. And as a result, Carson Yasa couldn't really deal him something there that he on the mound felt comfortable enough throwing in a 3-2 count.
Scoreless now in the bottom of the first inning, but New on first with nobody out in the inning. And Antonio Morales checks his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Umpire Jeff Kinney rings him up. Morales, a guy who's had success against Hyannis this summer, especially back on June 24th, the first time these two teams played, went 3 for 3 with a couple of walks and was kind of a bright spot in an offense that was bleak that day for Falmouth. Only 2 runs. 0-1. Big swing and a miss at a fastball outside. And Yasa once again jumps ahead.
This is what he did last time against New, but then that worked into a 9-pitch walk for Micah New, doing exactly what the Commodores did last time against Yasa, was work long at bats and make his first couple innings really hard.
New on first with nobody out in the inning. Yasa's got his sign. Now he comes home. And a big ball in the dirt. Nice block by Brody Briggs out of the crouch. And that'll keep New at bay at first base. Briggs is a guy who's been throwing out guys left and right over the last couple starts for that young man.
He's got a phenomenal arm, and he's got really quick pop. He's kind of established himself as one of those guys you just know not to run against right now.
New a big lead at first, and there's a chopper up the middle. Jake Schaffner steps on the bag to second. That's 1 on to first. In time, a 6-3 unassisted double play, and that leadoff walk is erased.
Will is a picture-perfect double play ball right up the middle. Pretty much led Jake Schaffner to the second base bag. All he had to do was make sure that he touched the bag and then made the throw over to first. And that is huge for Carson Yasa, not only eliminating that first walk of the day, but also getting it done in 4 pitches compared to 8 for the first batter.
Kent Schmidt for the first time tonight. So that part of the order, back-to-back lefties with Morales and Schmidt in the lineup for Falmouth. And the first pitch is on the outside corner, 0-1. So in all 3 at-bats this inning, Yasa's jumped ahead with the first pitch strike.
Not too surprising. We heard Coach Carricker talk about how Yasa is kind of biting to get back into a good position.
0-1 is fouled back to the backstop, and already a 0-2 advantage for Yasa. Yasa had a stretch of 5 consecutive appearances with 1 earned run or fewer, and then 3 earned run against Falmouth on the 18th, and then 3 against Catuit last week. Looking to face the minimum here in the first. The 0-2 offering misses away.
And this is when things start to go a little bit wayward for Yasa, when he tries to paint with those breaking balls instead of just peppering it with the fastball. I mean, getting 2 quick strikes against Kent Schmidt with the fastball, it seems to be working.
On a 1-2, Schmidt takes at the bottom of the zone, strike 3 called. He faces the minimum in the first, and Carson Yasa caps it with a K. Scoreless as we head to the top of the second.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Harbor Hawks and Commodores scoreless here at Gov Fuller Field as we enter the top of the second inning. Gabe Camacho will lead it off. It'll be 5-6-7 due up for the Harbor Hawks. Camacho, Charlie Bates, Miles Davis, Brody Briggs, if anybody gets on, and it was a 2-out double for Jeff Luigi that extended the first inning, but Ryan McKay lined out to center. But still, it looked like Hyannis really saw the pitcher, Jeremy Urena, well.
Yeah, a couple times where, especially early on in those at-bats, the guys were swinging at it. I mean, think of Schaffner, first pitch swinging, just a ground ball right over to Ken Schmidt, so he wasn't able to take advantage. But Luigi was right back on it as well. Ryan McKay hit one really, really well to opposite field, but Morales was cheating that way a little bit and just kind of skipped underneath it. Regardless, really, really good vision early on, a good sign going up against Urena, who's just making his third start.
Well, Camacho did not play last night against Katuitt. We last saw him in that 2-1 win over Wareham, but that game he went 0 for 4. That snapped a 6-game hitting streak for Camacho. First pitch is reach for and poke to second base. Reese Maroney throws on the run and in time for the first out of the inning. A 4-3 gets us started, and Charlie Bates coming up to the plate.
A little bit more of an ambush there from the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in the middle of the order. We haven't really seen them go after a pitcher like this in maybe 2 weeks now. It's been a while. It's been a very patient approach, but they're going after it.
Hyannis hitting .393 with a .942 OPS on first pitch. On first pitches, that's third in the Cape League. As Charlie Bates can't swing at that one. It's a fastball way up and away from Urena, and he jumps ahead, a ball and no strikes. And the windup, and the pitch to Bates is a check swing foul over by us, and the count level at 1. Bates, a guy who's had a very up and down season, had an 0 for 17 at one point, a 1 for 20 at one point, but also had a couple multi-6-game hit streaks in there, and it's been really impressive to see the way he's turned the page throughout a summer that started out rough, but then got really good. 1-1 breaking balls on the outside corner, a ball and 2 strikes to the left-hand hitting Bates.
And it felt like he turned the corner when he started to use his eye a little bit more and really depended on his walks. He only drew 1 walk through his first 11 games, and now is up there with the team leaders.
On a 1-2, he takes a fastball well inside, had to jump out of the way, and the count level at 2. 15 games and starts at Rhode Island this past spring for Urena, but will be transferring to FIU this upcoming fall. On a 2-2, Bates takes a little bit downstairs, kind of a delayed strike call or ball call from Jake Brichta behind the plate. First full count of the day to a Hyannis hitter. Here in the second, a scoreless affair. And the pitch is tapped foul over by the Falmouth dugout, first base way, and we'll do it again. And for Hyannis, they're seeing a lot of pitches, and that's only going to be an improvement and an advantage when they give the scouting report to the rest of their teammates.
Yeah, definitely, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when Hyannis eventually flips the order, because a lot of guys like Prince and Schaffner, who just didn't quite catch it, will know exactly what to look for their second time up.
3-2 again is a chopper back to the mound. Urena spins off, and he throws in time to retire, and he's had a tough start to the summer, just at 125 through his first few games. First pitch fastball clips the outside corner, and Urena jumps ahead 0-1. This is game 10 for Davis. Outfield straight away, no doubles defense, and the 0-1 pitch is lined to shortstop, and a nice leaping grab from Adrian Lopez. Hyannis goes down in order here in the top of the second inning. We'll head to the bottom half, scoreless at Gov Fuller Field.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Back here at Gov Fuller Field in the bottom of the second inning, Hyannis and Falmouth currently scoreless. And Carson Yassa faced the minimum back in the first inning. He's going to face 4, 5, 6 for the Commodores. Bear Harrison, Justin Osterhaus, Adrian Lopez, and Reese Maroney a chance if anybody gets on base. First pitch came a minute early at 5:59 and only at 81 degrees. And a day that's been so hot, it really seems like the sun has subsided a bit.
Thank goodness. It was so hot when we first got here. They did have BP, though. No BP yesterday in a day that was equally as warm. But the guys were out there. They were taking BP, so coming into this game a little bit warmer than they did yesterday.
Yassa led off the first inning with a leadoff walk to Mike Anu. That was a lengthy plate appearance. Antonio Morales grounded into that 6-3 unassisted double play. And then another battle with Kent Schmidt where he got a backwards K, but what you really like to see in that first inning is that he jumped ahead of all three hitters with a first pitch strike.
Yeah, New was the only one that worked it back to a full count. Everyone else was really down in their at-bats and their plate appearances, and it speaks to that fastball. I mean, he was pinpointing the heater left, right, and center, and against two lefties as a righty up there on the mound, equally impressive. The lefties couldn't even find it, and it makes his changeup and his slider so much more dangerous.
So the Texas A&M Aggie, Bear Harrison, steps up to the plate. Playing in game 25 here on the Cape. First pitch from Yassa. Fastball straightens him up inside. A ball and no strikes.
Well, this guy's been unbelievable as of late. I mean, 7 hits across his last 4 games started. 2 of those have been multi-hit performances.
Want to know the count? The offering from Yassa is fouled back to the screen. Count level at 1. And at least for Yassa against Katuitt, where he had 4 earned runs, he was jumping ahead 0-2 pretty consistently, but then the hitters brought it back even, then full. Here he's jumping ahead early, and when he does fall behind, he's getting right back into it. Count level at 1, Yassa in the stretch. And a fly ball foul off to the right out of play from Harrison. And another advantage count for the Nebraska Cornhusker on the mound.
Felt like every time that Yassa went up into an account in that game at Katuitt, he would then try to find tricky spots with his breaking ball. He threw 81 pitches. Only 36 of them were for strikes.
1-2. There's another breaking ball, but that one downstairs. Count level at 2. And it's important that Yassa stays in the strike zone against this team because Falmouth, a 138 average, 456 OPS with 2 strikes. That's 9th in the Cape. On a 2-2, Harrison grounds one up the middle. Nice play to the backhand. Luigi throws against the grain, and it's up the first base line. Camacho has to come off, and Harrison reaches.
Well, there's been a couple of plays like that as of late where it looks like it's going to be a really nice finish for a Hyannis infielder, and then the throw is just a little bit off. Gabe Camacho has had to work pretty hard over at first base over the past week or so, and he didn't really have a chance to turn around and lay a tag down because it was up the first base line, and he couldn't turn around and beat Harrison to that bag.
Well, we'll see what the official ruling is, but Harrison probably was going to be safe either way. Justin Osterhaus, the last left-handed hitter in the starting lineup, 1 of 3, takes a first pitch fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. The official ruling is a single from Bear Harrison, so that's the first hit of the day allowed by Yassa. 0-1 is fouled off to the left out of play, and another 0-2 advantage for Yassa on the mound, who consistently stays within that advantage count early.
He's responded really well to the couple times that Commodores have gotten on first base because that's where he struggled. It seems like over the past couple starts, whenever someone gets on, he starts to crumble a little bit.
The 0-2 is lined to right. That's going to dunk in for a base hit. Bear Harrison will stop at second. They'll go station to station. But Falmouth with something brewing here in the last of the second.
Well, that was just really nice patience on a curveball. Osterhaus just kind of sat back on his back foot and then leveled that bat, kept it pretty flat through the zone, and charged it into right field. Not too often that a guy's able to match the yo-yoing pace of Carson Yassa, but that time Osterhaus did just that.
Well, a couple Big Ten guys facing off right here with Yassa out of Nebraska, Adrian Lopez, the shortstop, out of USC. 2 on and nobody out for Lopez. First pitch from Yassa is grounded slowly to second base. Jeff Luigi to second, and that is in time on the force out, fielder's choice. So a quick out But now runners at the corners and 1 out for Reese Maroney.
It looked like Luigi had a little bit of trouble with the transfer. It kind of stuck to his glove, and when he tried to flip it to Schaffner, it came out low and might have even taken a hop off the dirt before it got to Schaffner, who was covering second base. But a really nice play from the shortstop to still reach out and grab that ball to get Osterhaus going to second.
Reese Maroney up for the first time tonight, playing second base for the Commodores. First pitch misses well inside. Maroney only playing in Game 4, but it's been a tough go-around. Just 1 for 8 at the plate in the small sample size. Showing the bunt here on the 1-0 count, and he gets it down, but it'll just curl foul up the first base line. Count level at 1.
Jared Saltalamacchia playing a little bit of small ball. Bear Harrison was on the move the second that pitch came home. And if Maroney was just able to get a little bit more on it to put it in fair territory, he likely would have beaten out any attempt to come to home plate.
Harrison on third, Lopez on first. Falmouth threatening here in the second. Currently scoreless at Gov Fuller Field. Yasa a long pause on the hill. Now the pitch. Is it going to miss outside? 2-1. Lopez not a lot of speed on first base. But Maroney just going to try to keep this ball in the air. On a 2-1 count, he chops one slowly up the third base line. Miles Davis charges bare hands, and it flips away. That's going to now squirt into foul territory as he takes a tumble. Run scores on the infield single.
Well, it kind of served as a bunt, even though he wasn't really going for it. Just swung right over the top of it, gently pulled it down the third base line. And Miles Davis, just with some more struggles over there at the hot corner, couldn't make the barehanded play. And the first run comes across for the Commodores, and everyone else is safe on the bases.
And that's a run that the Commodores earned. 2 singles to start the inning. They got that fielder's choice from Lopez that allowed him to reach and forced out the middleman, Justin Osterhaus. And then you got another infield hit right there. Mitch Carricker will take that, considering it wasn't off a free pass.
Yeah, he said that he just wants the other team to earn it.
First pitch to Chris Brumba, or Caden Brumba, misses well inside, 1-0.
The free passes plagued Hyannis in a couple of ball games recently, speaking most notably in that Catuit game where Hyannis got run ruled.
Runner goes at second. It's a double steal. Brody Briggs throws down to second base, and Maroney is just in safely. A double steal for Falmouth.
Well, Adrian Lopez is fortunate that Brody Briggs and Carson Yasa didn't really see him going as quickly as they could have because, man, he took off well early, was pretty much halfway to the bag by the time that Yasa made his move down to home plate, maybe even by the time he lifted his leg.
So now 2 in scoring position with a run already home for Falmouth. Hyannis brings the corners in. Middle infielders back. And a chopper up the middle. Jake Schaffner on the high hop, throws to first. That's in time. Another run comes home as Adrian Lopez is in safely. 2-0 Falmouth now in here in the bottom of the second.
Really the only play that Schaffner had. It would have been so difficult to go home, and if he did, likely that the throw would have been late. So good decision from Schaffner to just go to first, get the easy out, make the sacrifice, allow the run to come home, and try to just end this inning as quickly as possible to get the bats back up.
Reese Maroney takes third base. It's Falmouth coming out swinging early here at Guff Fuller Field. Number 9 man Chris Newstrom at the plate. And he launches one foul off to the right. Yasa's had to work. He's 33 pitches deep through 1 2/3. 21 strikes as well, though. Newstrom, another guy struggling on the Commodores, in at just 137 to start the night. And this is game 26. On an 0-1, he takes well outside, the curveball missing from Yasa. And those were the types of misses that he suffered from against Catuit, those uncompetitive ones, but we largely haven't seen that tonight until now.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like every time he's thrown the breaking ball, it's kind of been away, especially to the right-handed hitters.
And he gets a swing and a miss. That'll skip to the backstop. Brody Briggs not able to get it to the plate in time. Reese Maroney comes on the wild pitch.
And this is just kind of what's happened for Carson Yassa in his most recent starts. A couple hits here and there, and then all of a sudden, things unravel. A couple stolen bases, a really gutsy double stolen base call. And then after that, a wild pitch, a little bit of small ball, ground ball to bring someone home.
A 1-2 count to Newstrom. He takes a fastball upstairs. Count level at 2 balls in, 2 strikes. And for Yassa, it's almost like a fresh start here because now you got nobody on base, 2 outs in the inning. Of course, 3 runs are home here in the second. But all he could do is focus on the hitter Newstrom. And a 2-2 count to the number 9 man. He kicks and fires. And the fastball is golfed to right field. Long run for Sawyer Black into foul territory, but he makes the catch just in fair territory to put away the side. But Falmouth plates 3 here in the second inning. They take a 3-0 lead as we head to the third.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the rental source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Well, Hyannis only trailed 1 time in the past 4 games against Falmouth. That was the last time they played back at McKeon Park. And they're trailing here early on at Gov Fuller Field, down 3-0 as we head to the top of the third inning. And Brody Briggs, 8-9-1 due up for Mitch Carricker with Briggs, Sawyer Black, Owen Prince, Jake Schaffner a chance if anybody gets on base. And it's going to be interesting to see how they respond to the adversity for the first time tonight.
Yeah, the Bats really haven't had a chance to get hot because they haven't been up for too long. It's been a quick 2 innings for Urena and this Falmouth Commodores defense. But Jeff Lugie with a good double. We saw Camacho, Bates, and Davis, all of the 3 that came up to the plate in the last inning, kind of go with that ambush tactic. They were swinging early and often. So seeing that now the dugout, the rest of the Hyannis players have a little bit of information on this pitcher and have seen their teammates try and fail, they might be able to get to him a little bit early.
Well, Hyannis went down in order in the second, 2 groundouts and a lineout. And Briggs, one of 5 guys who were there, who was here on opening day in the starting lineup for Mitch Carricker, as the first pitch fastball from Jeremy Urena is on the outside corner. No balls in, a strike. But as I was saying, at least recently, we've seen a lot of lineups where there's only 1 or 2 guys who've been there since opening day. This time, a lot of familiarity. Briggs chops the 0-1 to first base on a broken bat. Ken Schmidt ranges and tosses to the pitcher, Urena covering in time for the first out of the inning.
I think it's so important at this part of the season for at least one of those guys that's been here from the beginning to have an opportunity to play in the lineup and kind of settle down some of the new guys who are still only playing in their single-digit games and single-digit starts. And Brody Briggs, although he's kind of been on and off with his starts, can totally be that kind of guy.
Sawyer Black, who homered last night against Katuitt, up for the first time tonight, trying to work as a pseudo leadoff man out of the number 9 spot. He chops the first pitch foul behind the plate. Black also homered against these Commodores back on July 9th, his first of the summer here at Gov Fuller Field. It was a 3-run shot that turned out to be a big difference in that game. 0-1 skips in, and the count level at 1.
I feel like Sawyer Black is kind of starting to reach that level of a guy that has been here for a decent amount of time. He hasn't played all that much. His starts have kind of been hard to come by, just flowing in and out of the lineup, but he's been here since the beginning of the month.
And a 1-1 count. He takes a little bit outside, 2-1. I mean, his first game was July 4th, so the 4th of July at YD. has made an immediate impact in, as you mentioned, kind of few and far between in terms of the starts as of late for Black. 2-1, breaking ball misses away, and a 3-ball count, just the second of the day for Jeremy Urena.
I've been really impressed with his approach and how aggressive he's been in the box over the last 2 games. He's gotten hits in both of his last 2, but the strikeout numbers have been kind of high.
3-1 count is taken on the inside corner. Count runs full. Urena, a guy who only walked 21 in 80 2/3 at Rhode Island. That's a 2.3 walks per 9, so he's got command of the strike zone. And pitches like that serve as evidence. On a 3-2 count, Black fouls one off of the catcher, Bear Harrison, painfully so. And the home plate umpire, Jake Brickta, giving some professional courtesy, will run a baseball out to the mound to Jeremy Urena.
Not quite sure where it got him, but he kind of folded immediately. Definitely hurt him. But he hopped right back up, so no question he's going to stay in this ball game and just going to try to tough it out.
1 out, nobody on here in the top of the third. A 3-0 Falmouth lead over Hyannis. Top of the order, Owen Prince looming on deck. This will be pitch 7 of the plate appearance. And it is on the outside corner. Strike 3 called. Sawyer Black didn't like it. He gets the bad news from Jake Brickta. And all of a sudden, 6 in a row retired by Jeremy Urena.
Yeah, I might be on the side of Sawyer Black there. That one looked like it bent well off the plate, but must have caught a bit of the corner.
Owen Prince led off the game, grounding back to Urena in the first inning. He chops the pitch to first base straight away for Kent Schmidt, who will step on the bag in time to retire the side. But we'll keep it right where we are as we're joined by our very own Ethan Wax.
Thank you very much, Max. With just 4 games remaining in the regular season after tonight, Hawks manager Mitch Carricker does not want his team's scoreboard watching, but a win tonight could put them in position to clinch a playoff spot as early as tomorrow night versus Bourne. Where the team finishes in the standings, however, is anybody's guess. The Hawks entered tonight's game just 2 points behind second-place Bourne and 1 point ahead of fourth-place Catuit, making division leaders Wareham or Bourne likely opponents. Hyannis comes off recent wins against both teams, narrowly defeating Wareham 2-1 on Sunday, while routing Bourne 12-0 last Friday in what was easily the team's best performance of the season. Hyannis has just won 2 of their last 3 games played versus both teams. Hyannis concludes its regular season on Sunday against Wareham. With Carson Yassa starting tonight and Max Stammel tomorrow, it is increasingly likely that the duo will start the first 2 games of the playoffs. Yassa was dominant in a 3-2 loss in mid-July versus Wareham, tossing 5 shutout innings while striking out 7 batters. Stammel roughed up in a relief appearance in early July against Wareham, allowing 4 runs in 2 2/3 innings. Control issues weren't the culprit, as he walked 4 batters. Stammel tossed 4 innings against Bourne on the 16th, allowing 2 runs on 2 hits. With games against likely first opponents this week, we send it back to the guys.
Thanks very much, Ethan. And it's going to be really interesting to see, should Hyannis hang on and make the postseason, the way that the starting rotation lines up. Of course, Yassa going to be right in the mix, and he's going to face the top of the order, Micah New, on cue here in the third. First pitch is upstairs, 1-0. Got away from Brody Briggs briefly. I thought that might have hit the bat, but it is a ball. And New worked a lengthy walk back in the first inning, and he made Yassa work as the 1-0 fastball misses up and in. 2 balls and no strikes to New. Hyannis looking to just get back in the dugout. And again, trailing for only the second time this season against Falmouth. And the 2-0 fastball again missing well up. 3 balls and no strikes.
And this is when things start to look concerning for Carson Hyannis is when that fastball's not locating early. That's how he's gotten ahead in so many at-bats.
3-0 right down the middle. And last time he pitched against Falmouth was July 18th. He walked 4 over 4 innings. And a lot of those walks proved to be costly, especially against Katuitt on the 24th. We saw that a lot as well. 3-1 is launched to left field. Charlie Bates going back to the warning track, looking up. It is well out of here. A home run for Micah New, his 8th of the Cape League summer. And Falmouth extends the lead, 4-0 here in the bottom of the third.
Well, Micah New knew it immediately. He pimped that. Came off the bat, he dropped the bat, and just slowly started trotting up the first base line. And the dugout's loving it. A big fist pump from Jared Saltalamacchia and co. That's exactly what they've needed. Currently on a 6-game skid, this Commodores team is trying everything they can to find an answer.
Antonio Morales takes well upstairs, a ball and no strikes. And that home run, kind of the product of Yasa falling behind 3-0 because it forced him to go right down into the strike zone and not on the corners. Behind here, 1-0 to Morales. And the offering well downstairs.
I think part of it, too, is that his breaking ball to those righties have been very uncompetitive. So mentally, there's a little bit more pressure of, okay, this needs to be a really good pitch starting down the middle and breaking so that it fools them, or ending in the zone.
And there's another one right there. Breaking ball missing well downstairs. So he's fallen behind 3-0 to each of the first 2 hitters here in the third. And, of course, the last at-bat resulted in that home run for Micah New, his 8th of the summer. Looking to get back into this AB against Morales. 3-0. Fastball. Clips the knees. Falmouth dugout did not agree with the call. But Yasa buys another pitch, as he did against New. A 4-0 Falmouth advantage here in the last of the third. On a 3-1, Morales takes well downstairs, ball 4. And there's the second walk of the day issued by Carson Yasa.
Well, the walks are what has been the issue for Yasa. We've talked about that at length. 9 over his last 2 starts, now 2 already through 3 innings. And something has got to be a little bit off with release point or with just form, because Blaze Martinez coming out of the bullpen, or the dugout.
Well, it looks like the fastball has found the zone pretty consistently, but it's the off-speed stuff for Yasa that hasn't been there. Of course, a fastball curve slider mix, fastball the heater topping out at 99, really slows it down with the curveball in the 79-81 range, and then slider in the mid to high 80s. And for Yasa, if you don't have command over the fastball, they say you're kind of not going to have a great at-bat, but it's kind of reversed right here. It's really been the off-speed stuff that hasn't set up the fastball to blow hitters away.
Yeah, I think specifically that slider, too, is what we've seen kind of go awry early on. It's been so low and away to righties, low and inside to lefties every single time. That pitch specifically hasn't been very competitive. We've seen the curveball find the zone, but when it did most recently in the memory, it was taken to right field for a single back in the second.
Left-handed hitting Kent Schmidt picked up the only strikeout of the day as Yasa misses well up and away with the fastball. So all 3 first pitches this inning haven't been close, and that time it's the heater. Morales on first with nobody out. A run home for Falmouth here in the third. Here's the 1-0. Schmidt, a big swing and a miss at the slider. That went darting well under the zone. And that pitch can work at his bread and butter when he's got the fastball going. Now it's about the consistency with the breaking ball, and then he's going to be rolling. Infield in double play depth. They've already turned 2 once tonight. Runner goes at first, and there's a chopper to second base that'll keep him out of the double play. Lucci over to Camacho, and the 4-3 gives 1 out in the inning, but now a man in scoring position for the Commodores.
Very well executed hit and run there, just getting Morales a little bit of a head start and totally taking away the double play ball from Lucci and Schaffner up the middle. And to your point, that fastball started to locate there a little bit more at the end, and the slider was also much tighter. We haven't seen the really good tight break. It's kind of been a little loopy and away from him.
Bear Harrison, who picked up a single back in the second inning, up for the second time tonight, and he takes well outside for ball 1. So 0 for 4 on first pitch strikes to the 4 hitters he's faced in this inning. Falmouth picked up 3 hits back in the second inning where they scored 3. And Harrison and the guy on deck, Osterhaus, started that rally. This one's going to get away from Brody Briggs. And the second wild pitch of the day for Yasa allows Morales to take third base with 1 out in the inning.
It's also tough for Yasa because he spent the majority of this season, or at least early on, as a reliever, and spent the majority of his 2025 collegiate season with the Cornhuskers as a reliever. So we've seen over his starts and over his relief appearances that his first 1-2 innings are very clean, but once he stretches into the third is where the problems arise.
2-0 to Harrison is flown in the air to shallow right field. Sawyer Black coming in. Jeff Luigi going out. The second baseman, Luigi, makes the catch. And with his momentum going away from the plate, that'll allow Morales to come in to score. So a sacrifice fly to the second baseman, Luigi. You don't see that every day.
No, Luigi kind of just made that play out of necessity. If he didn't, it likely would have gotten down in front of Sawyer Black. Black a little bit too far into right field to make that play. And that allowed Morales to come home, because if Black was able to get there, if it was just a little bit deeper in the yard, he would have had his momentum coming forward and likely could have made a good throw.
5-0 Falmouth. And Osterhaus skies one left side. Long run for Charlie Bates into foul territory. He's got no play. Well, there's the first pitch strike of the inning. And it comes to the 5th Commodore to come up to the plate for Yasa. And again, it's important to come back to, especially if a guy like Yasa doesn't feel his command early and he falls behind consistently. That's when you get that wildness inside the zone, which is what we saw from Mike Anu, the home run. He fell behind 3-0, worked it back full, and then he goes over the fence. 0-1 is line. Nice pick on the back end from Miles Davis at third. Throws across the diamond. It's high, and Camacho has to come off the bag. Another tough play down there for Davis. We'll see what the official ruling is, but looked like Osterhaus had a chance to beat that one out regardless.
Yeah, Davis had to make a really tough play. His back to first base, just to keep that in the infield, was pretty impressive. If it got past him, that likely would have been a chance for 2 for Justin Osterhaus. He just couldn't quite get enough under that throw to beat out the base runner.
So it is a single, the second single for Osterhaus of the night, and as many at-bats. And Adrian Lopez, who reached on that 4-6 fielder's choice and came around to score back in the second, up for the second time tonight. USC Trojan takes upstairs for ball 1. And Lopez was another Cape League All-Star this year. Falmouth actually had quite a few, but all their All-Stars over the last couple of weeks, ever since the All-Star game, have really struggled. On a 1-0, Lopez golfs it foul off to the right out of play.
That's the most confusing part about Falmouth's trajectory this season, is they've had a lot of their first-day guys stay. I mean, you look through it from top to bottom in the 9, over half of the guys in the starting 9 have been here since day 1. It's just been pretty messy baseball. A lot of errors for them.
1-1 to Lopez. The runner goes. The pitch is a ball. The throw down from Brody Briggs hits off of Osterhaus. So he's going to take off for third base and get there standing without a problem. Well, the third stolen base in as many innings for the Commodores. And they continue to manufacture pressure on Yasa.
That throw was pinpointed from Brody Briggs. It was just a little bit too difficult for Jeff Luigi to hold on. And it looked like it might have bounced off of Luigi's mitt and then also off of the base runner in Osterhaus, just kind of all over the place.
2-1 to Lopez. Fastball straightens him up inside. So it's a stolen base and an E2 that allows him to reach third. And especially talking about how guys like Lopez found success and then struggled. Last time out against Hyannis on the 18th, Lopez 0 for 5 with 5 punch-outs. But he's going to get a walk right here. A fastball misses well upstairs, and he'll head down to first base. The third walk of the day for Carson Yasa.
And the second in this inning, Yasa has really lost a lot of his command. And I think it comes back to uncompetitive misses. I mean, we've talked about that a lot this season, especially in the past couple of weeks. It's so difficult. It forces a pitcher to almost hit the reset button, and then the batter has a bit of an advantage.
Runners at the corners. And 2 down for Reese Maroney, who reached on that infield single to Miles Davis and also picked up an RBI. Runner goes at first. Brody Briggs pockets the baseball, and Lopez swipes another base for the Commodores. Make it 4 in total here in the third inning, where they enjoy a 5-0 lead over Hyannis.
Briggs was never going to let that one fly and give Osterhaus an excuse to try and beat a throw home. Just had to hold on to that one and wear it.
On a 1-0, Maroney takes a fastball upstairs. 2 balls in, no strikes from Yasa. And just looking at the numbers, 3 walks, 2 wild pitches, and then 1 error in the field so far for Hyannis, and it's only the bottom of the third.
Free passes have been the Achilles heel for Hyannis in this month.
2-0, well inside, ball 3. It's the 4th time this inning that Yasa's fallen behind of a hitter 3-0. The 3-0 fastball catches the inside corner, and Maroney will have to stay for at least another pitch. Yasa working out of the stretch with 2 in scoring position and 2 runs home. And the pitch is golfed, and a diving grab by Luigi, but it kicks by him into right field. 1 run is home. Here comes Adrian Lopez. It's an RBI single, and 2 more runs come home. Falmouth takes a 7-0 lead.
It's just all going right now for the Commodores. They're seeing Yasa extremely well. His fastball has just kind of been left over the plate the last couple of times, and the breaking balls just can't quite locate, so we can't pitch with much confidence.
Mitch Carricker will make a call to the bullpen. 7-0 Falmouth here in the last of the third. We'll meet the new pitcher on the other side of this break.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Falmouth on top of Hyannis, 7-0, and the day for Carson Yasa is done. In comes Hunter Dietz, making his 6th appearance this summer, an 11.25 earned run average over 8 innings, and a large part of that due to 8 walks in those frames.
Yeah, the walks have been a bit of a struggle for Dietz, but his last appearance against Harwich was very, very clean. Dealt for 2 innings, only allowing 2 hits, no walks. He struck out 1, and nobody crossed home plate. So he's going to try to carry some of that momentum into this appearance. The big struggle for Dietz is he's had some trouble finding the strike zone consistently, kind of similar to Carson Yasa over his last couple starts. Dietz has only found the zone 49% of the time this season. He relies heavily on his breaking pitches, but when it's not finding the zone, it's hard for it to be very competitive.
Well, that appearance against Harwich, the only time this summer in 4 prior appearances that Dietz did not walk at least 1. His debut was July 2nd against Cotuit. He walked 3 that day. Then the game before the Harwich one, July 16th at Bourne, 3 walks as well. But he's got cleanup duty right here. And, of course, for Mitch Carricker, it's all about getting outs. And this is a Falmouth team that when they're ahead, they tend to not hit very well, but that's not been the case.
No, they have been unbelievably clean and compact. They're doing it all right now with relative ease. I mean, coming into this ball game with a 198 average when playing with a lead. And they're hitting, and they're finding ways to get on base like they're the best team in the Cape League playing with a lead.
Caden Brumba coming up for the 2nd time tonight. Picked up an RBI and a ground out to Jake Schaffner back in the 2nd inning. Commodores on top of the Harbor Hawks, 7-0 here in the bottom of the third. Hunter Dietz changing arm action for Hyannis. Of course, Yasa the right-hander, Dietz the left-hander. And the first pitch fastball sails well high, 1-0.
That's exactly what Yasa was struggling with early, or late in his start, was not being able to find the zone with that fastball.
Maroney still on first, the 1-0. Misses away, 2 balls and no strikes to the number 8 hitter, Brumba. 5 different Falmouth hitters have picked up an RBI, and we're only in the last of the third. And a fly ball foul behind the plate. So 2-1 the count from Dietz. Arkansas Razorback. Maroney on first, 2 outs in the inning. And the 2-1 is a breaking ball missing downstairs, 3 balls and a strike. And Brumba only playing in game 6, but a hot start to the summer. 4 for his first, 13 coming into tonight. Of course, 0 for 1, but he did pick up an RBI on the ground out. And he takes a wild swing at the 3-1, trying to leave the ball yard. 1 double out of those 4 hits, so still looking for that first round tripper.
He thought he had it there, saw a fastball pretty high in the zone, just well late to it.
Maroney will be on the run. The payoff pitch is lined to second base. Jeff Luigi makes the catch, letters high. That ends the inning. But a 4 spot for the Commodores, and they take a 7-0 lead as we head to the top of the 4th.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
Well, Harbor Hawks hitters have some work cut out in front of them. We're now in the top of the 4th inning at Gov Fuller Field, and a 7-0 Commodores lead, as it's the part of the order that the Harbor Hawks won up. It's 2-3-4 with Jake Schaffner, Jeff Luigi, Ryan McKay, and Gabe Camacho a chance if anybody gets on base. But at the same token, Jeremy Urena has not thrown a pitch in a while.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. That was a long bottom of the 3rd inning, so questions about, how sharp he's going to look coming into this inning. I mean, Hyannis has been hitting him pretty well, just in the wrong spots. A lot of first pitch swings, a lot of contact. It just hasn't resulted in those hits yet for the Hawks.
And sometimes it doesn't work out to the pitcher's advantage. Of course, a big inning in terms of runs takes pressure off yourself, but, I mean, time and time again, guys will be sitting down for 30, 40 minutes, and they come in kind of trying to re-warm up. I mean, Hyannis had a 9 spot last week against Bourne, but Max Stammel, fortunately for the Harbor Hawks, responded very well. Got right back to work, picked up where he left off. Schaffner to lead it off here in the top of the 4th against Urena. First pitch is a breaking ball on the outside corner. 0-1. Chris Newstrom, the 3rd baseman, even with the cut, anticipating a potential bunt bid by Jake. Of course, some speed for the UNC Diamond Heel. On an 0-1, Schaffner takes downstairs. Good slider from Urena, but Schaffner thought better of it. Count level at 1.
We ask that you please remain off the playing surface. The gravel warning track is considered in play. Thank you. Please remove yourself and all animals.
7-0 Falmouth in the top of the 4th inning. A team that, as Mitch Carricker said, is fighting for their lives, but they're doing a good job of that today. 1-1 to Schaffner as a fastball fouled off to the left out of play. Kind of raised the eye level. And for Urena, he's gotten first pitch quick outs pretty early. And a guy who only walked, as we mentioned, 21 and 80 2/3 at Rhode Island. He's no stranger to staying into the strike zone.
No, he's not. And he's only got 1 strikeout tonight, which is not as typical for him because he can find the zone so well. But he's just done such a good job of getting weak contact, allowing people to roll over.
And a 1-2 count to Jake Schaffner. And the pitch misses away. Tried to go with the backdoor breaking ball. Count level at 2. Schaffner, a guy more walks than strikeouts. And that is not easy to do, but he's got one of those elite eyes. 13 walks to 9 punch-outs. Comes in today at 293 with an 815 OPS. 2-2 pitch is skied a mile high into shallow right field. Caden Brumba, the right fielder, makes the catch, build the cap high for the first out of the 4th inning.
And for Schaffner, that includes a 3-strikeout day yesterday. Over the course of, nearly 30 games now, maybe just shallow of that because of his injury, Schaffner only struck out 6 times.
Jeff Luigi up for the second time tonight. He had that 2-out double back in the 1st inning, but he was stranded after Ryan McKay lined out to center. First pitch is another curveball bid on the outside corner, but this one well outside to the Duke Blue Devil. 1-0. Bases empty and 1 out here in the top of the 4th. 1-0 offering is right at the knees, and the count level at 1. And when Urena falls behind, he goes right back to it.
He's really done a good job taking advantage of the bottom part of the zone.
On a 1-1, Luigi chops one to first base. Ken Schmidt charges and takes it to the bag himself for the second out of the inning. 3 unassisted, and the first 2 set down easily by Urena here in the top of the 4th.
Well, if there are any questions about how comfortable and confident he'd look after a long break from pitching, there probably aren't now. 2 pretty solid and quick outs for Urena on the mound. And just to finish the thought I had a moment earlier, he's really using the lower part of the zone. Jake Brickta has established that is going to be called for a strike in this ball game, and he's just peppering it right now.
Ryan McKay up for the second time, and the first pitch misses away from Urena. A ball and no strikes. And it's so impressive to see how quickly Urena's working through this part of the order, considering this is the meat and bones of Hyannis' lineup. 2, 3, 4. All these guys hitting for prolific averages. 1-0 to McKay is a breaking ball downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. I mean, at one point, Ryan McKay, of course, a Cape League All-Star along with Jeff Luigi, had his batting average up to 390. It's been a slow couple of weeks for Ryan towards the back half of this month. He sits in the 290 range right now. Ahead in the count, 2-0. The pitch is flown out to left center field. Long run for Antonio Morales. And to the warning track with room for the final out of the inning. Hyannis goes down in order here in the 4th inning. A 7-0 Commodores lead as we head to the bottom half.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Back here at Gov Fuller Field, bottom of the 4th inning, and Falmouth is cruising. They got 9-1-2 due up in a 7-0 lead. Chris Newstrom, Micah New, and Antonio Morales. Carson Yassa went the first 2 2/3 for Hyannis, allowing 6 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned, 3 walks, and a strikeout. A couple wild pitches in there, and costly error on the throw from Brody Briggs. But a lot of manufactured runs, a lot of infield singles, and they've still hit Yassa pretty hard.
Yeah, they did. I mean, a couple singles early on in that 2nd inning, and then the home run, of course, for Micah New coming to mind when thinking about how they hit for power. But a sac fly, a couple infield singles that just didn't go the way of the Hawks, especially Miles Davis over at third had a tough time with a couple of balls that went his way. But they just managed. They made things work, which can be the sign of a team that's really been dormant as of late, I think. I mean, Falmouth, they haven't scored much over the past week or so. And now, all of a sudden, the bats are finding ways to get it done. think if you're Jared Saltalamacchia, you're just hoping that they don't use it all in this ball game.
Well, the pitching, most certainly with Jeremy Urena on the hill for Falmouth, has looked really good, and they have a 3.38 home ERA. That's third in the Cape League. But how about the only ERA north of 6 on the road? So it's really been kind of two different worlds for the Commodores. First pitch to Chris Newstrom from Hunter Dietz is at the knees, 0-1. Newstrom was 0 for 1 against Yasa. He flew out to Sawyer Black to end the second inning. Has a chance here in the fourth. And he chops the 0-1 offering into the Hyannis dugout, third base way. And Dietz jumps ahead early.
And this was always going to be an interesting matchup because Hyannis has had more success on the road. So for a Harbor Hawks team that has hit and pitched better on the road, taking on a Falmouth team that has been much better at home, felt like this was going to be a bit of a barn burner.
0-2 pitch to Newstrom. That one well up and away. That slipped out of the hands of Hunter Dietz. Tried the slider there, just didn't get a good feel for it. I mean, when Falmouth is ahead, they have a Cape League worse 198 batting average, 622 OPS. They lead 7-0 here. As the 1-2 offering is swung on a missed, strike 3. Hunter Dietz blows the express right by Newstrom, and he picks up his first strikeout of his relief appearance.
Newstrom well behind that one. A great pitch from Dietz, went middle, and just brought out all the speed that he could muster up.
But as I was saying, Falmouth, a team that doesn't hit well when they're winning games or when they're in the lead, as Mike Anu homered his last time up, takes a fastball in the outside corner. But that wasn't the case back in the third inning. They came into that inning with a 3-0 advantage, and they just hit Yasa. Mike Anu started that inning with a bang, a home run on a full count. And an 0-1 breaking ball misses away from Hunter Dietz. Count level at 1.
The Commodores were also helped back in the third by 2 walks from Carson Yasa and an error from Brody Briggs. The free passes were there.
1-1 skips into the dirt, and a 2-1 count to New. And New, a guy, of course, an all-star. That home run in the third, his 8th of the summer, but at one point he had 7. The next closest guy in the Cape League was at 3. He had a power stroke in the late part of June, early July, and he chops one to shortstop. Jake Schaffner bobbles it on the hop, but he tries to throw to first, and it's not in time. Potentially another error for Hyannis.
Just more of the same right now for the Harbor Hawks. It's been really a struggle to play clean baseball.
So Antonio Morales comes up for the third time tonight, although he's only registered 1 official at bat. That was when he grounded into a 6-3 unassisted double play back in the first inning. But he worked a lengthy walk and came around to score an inning ago in the third. With New on first, and the lefty-lefty first pitch offering is swung through. It gets away, and he takes second base. The third wild pitch of the day by Hyannis pitching puts another runner in scoring position. And the ruling on that New ball, an E6 for Schaffner. So you got a couple freebies already.
It just keeps hurting Hyannis. They keep coming back to it. They've got a couple games, 2 or 3, that they can piece together without errors, but then it always comes back to bite them.
A chopper to first base, charged by Gabe Camacho. He's got to throw to the pitcher covering. Hunter Dietz is just there in time. Mike Anu takes a healthy turn around third base, but he'll stay there as he improves another 90 feet forward. 2 outs in the inning, but New 90 feet away.
And this is what it's been, besides, of course, the home run from Mike Anu. The Commodores have just manufactured runs. Base runners have been able to get around because of a ball not in a great spot. And again, I mean, the 8th run for the Commodores, 90 feet away.
Ken Schmidt, the left-handed hitter, will have to go left on left with Hunter Dietz. One of the few Commodores who haven't enjoyed the day at the plate so far. The first pitch misses away from Dietz. That was the fastball up and away. Strikeout looking in the first and a ground out in the third. And kind of paradoxical, only 1 strikeout for Yasa tonight. On a 1-0, Schmidt gets out of the way. The fastball running inside. 2 balls and no strikes with Mike Anu on third base. A 7-0 Commodores advantage here at Gov Fuller Field in the last of the 4th inning. 2-0 offering. Fastball catches the inner black, and the count moves to 2 balls and a strike. And at least for Dietz, as we mentioned, he came in 8 innings, pitched 8 walks. Yet to issue that first freebie on balls, but he's gotten pretty close in terms of working it to a hitter's count, but he's clawed back. 2-1 offering here is sky to left field, and it'll be the center fielder, Owen Prince, to the warning track to make the catch for the final out of the inning. Well, Falmouth strands one 90 feet away here in the 4th inning. A 7-0 Commodores lead as we head to the 5th. Hunter Dietz works a quick and easy 4th inning, and it's going to be Gabe Camacho to lead it off here in the 5th. Camacho, Bates, and Miles Davis. They're going to face a new pitcher. Urena went the first 4 and was electric. The new pitcher is Everett Garber for the Commodores, and after a start like that for Urena, he's kind of going to have to pass the torch right here.
Yeah, it was a really, really strong start for Urena. Went for 4 innings, only allowed 1 hit, which was a Jeff Lugie double, and a play that likely could have resulted in an out. The outfielders in center and right just kind of miscommunicated, and it dropped in front of them. But 3 up, 3 down innings, back to back to back. It was a beautiful appearance. 1 strikeout, no walks. Jeremy Urena set this Commodores team up for success, and now it's on Garber to continue that.
And Garber, a long relief guy, he's gotten 2 appearances this summer, 8 innings. So he's going to go for a while if Jared Saltalamacchia lets him. And that all impedes on how Hyannis reacts to the new arm. They did not bear well against the starter, Urena. Went the first 4 scoreless on just 1 hit and 1 strikeout. So a lot of weak balls in play for the Harbor Hawks. First pitch to Camacho is a lively fastball up and away, a ball and no strikes.
And I think all that weak contact kind of made it feel like Hyannis was on the verge of a bit of a breakthrough, because they were really hitting Urena quickly, but they couldn't get anything past the infield.
1-0, fastball clips the top of the zone. Count level at 1 to the UCSD Triton. Only 2 3-ball counts for Urena through 4 innings of work. A 1-1 offering coming up to Camacho. And Garber's pitch is at the top of the zone. A ball and 2 strikes. The first 6 hitters in this Hyannis order, all left-handed batters. Miles Davis, who waits on deck, the lone righty, and it's back to 2 lefties to round it out. 1-2 pitch is golfed to right field. Caden Brumbaugh, with plenty of time, camps under it for the first out of the 5th inning.
That's only the 5th out that's been recorded in the outfield in this ball game in the top of innings. It's been a lot of ground balls, so just for Camacho to kind of get underneath that and something into the outfield is a bit of a better sign. Of course, it wasn't a line drive, it wasn't hit very hard, so not what he's looking for. But the amount of ground balls that this pitching staff of the Commodores has gotten is pretty impressive.
Charlie Bates up for the 2nd time tonight, and the first pitch misses inside 1-0. Bates, of course, suffered that 1 for 20 with 12 strikeouts. He broke out of that on July 6th at Brewster. And the game against Falmouth on the 9th, where he went 2 for 3, was his first game without a strikeout since June 17th. 1-0 fastball misses well up and away. 2 balls and no strikes to the Stanford Cardinal. Grounded out to the pitcher, Jeremy Urena, at the time, back in the 2nd inning. Good hitters count here. On a 2-0, Bates swings through a breaking ball. That one just tumbling under the zone. 2 balls and a strike.
That was a really good pitch. Those have been the ones that Bates has kind of struggled with. The breaking balls have kind of been his kryptonite. He sees the fastballs really well, and he hits them very well. But the second that there is a little bit more movement on it than he's expecting, he can kind of get some of those big swings and misses.
Garber, a rising sophomore at Bucknell. But he worked as a starting pitcher during his freshman campaign. Only relief for Jared Saltalamacchia so far this summer. 2-1 offering, misses up and away. 3 balls and a strike. And as I mentioned, only 2 3-ball counts through 4 innings for the start of Urena. We're already in hitter 2. We're only in hitter 2, and you got one here. Hyannis looking to just string together base runners. The 3-1 offering to Bates misses well inside ball 4. The first walk of the day issued by Commodores pitching comes with 1 out here in the top of the 5th.
And although it's a free pass, that could be the type of thing to kind of ignite Hyannis' offense. A free pass is kind of all the Hawks need to get a little bit of momentum. We've seen them take advantage of free passes over the past week or so now and really turn that into runs.
Miles Davis up for the second time tonight. Going right on right. And the first pitch fastball misses away. Everett Garber really wanted it from Jake Brickta behind the plate. Bates on first with 1 out in the inning. A 7-0 Commodores advantage here in the top of the 5th. Davis lined out to Adrian Lopez at shortstop to end the second inning. And for a guy who's struggled all season long, as I mentioned, this is game 10, but a 125 average coming in. That was hit very hard, so it's got to feel good to at least put bat on ball on the right part of the barrel.
And he's done that more consistently over the past couple of games. Hits in 2 of his last 3.
Ahead 1-0. Front door breaking ball clips the upper inside corner. And the count level at 1 to Davis.
I think a big reason for that, too, is the strikeout numbers kind of went down for him. No strikeouts in back-to-back games, the first time that he's done that in this Cape League season. But then he struck out 2 times yesterday.
1-1 pitch. Davis checks his swing on a slider downstairs. Did he go? No, he did not. First base umpire Jeff Kinney delivers the news.
But in 4 appearances this season, in 4 starts, Davis has struck out multiple times.
Another check over at Charlie Bates. 4 stolen bases for Bates on first. Tied for 4th on the team. But a lot of the guys in the lead no longer with the Harbor Hawks. Matt Miura, Andrew Williamson, Hayden Federico, Jackson Willits, all in front of Bates, all of which have departed.
Hyannis lost a lot of speed. That's why we haven't seen them steal as much in this month of July. Went from the best stealing team in the Cape League to the worst.
2-1 to Davis. Fastball challenge pitch, and he swings through it. Count even at 2 with 1 out in the inning. A 7-0 Commodores lead here in the 5th. Charlie Bates on first base. Everett Garber spins off the mound and disengages. That pitch clock was at 2. But of course, no disengagement rule on the Cape. The 2-2 offering to Davis is taken just outside. The entire Falmouth dugout wanted it. And with a 3-2 count, we might see Bates in motion. Still only 1 out in the inning, but trying to stay out of that potential double play ball. And Davis has already grounded into 2 through just 9 games. Bates not running. The 3-2 count is fouled straight back to the screen. We'll do it again as the battle continues.
Davis fighting really hard. We haven't really seen this kind of fight from him in his early appearances. But he's using his eye really well. I mean, that ball that he took to load the count was real close to the zone, and he took it the whole way.
Long pause on the hill for Garber. Now he comes home, and Davis chops one slowly to third base. That'll twirl outside the third base line. And another pitch coming up. That was the 7th pitch of this plate appearance. And for Davis, a lot of the struggles have been quick outs early in at-bats. Of course, the strikeouts have been a bit high, but for the large part, it's been early action that he's been jumping on the pitches, but he just hasn't been successful.
Yeah, and I think that just regardless of how this at-bat, this plate appearance result turns out, the fact that he's worked this so late and the fact that he's taken and seen so many pitches is a good sign.
Bates still on first. Not running. The 3-2 is swung on and missed. Strike three. Everett Garber elevated with the fastball, and he picks up his first strikeout of the relief appearance.
And Davis reporting a bit of information to Brody Briggs. That fastball got him a couple times. Started high, you think that he thought it was going to tunnel and be one of those breaking pitches, but it just never dove. He was well late and well underneath it.
Check over at Bates, and 4 of the 5 fastballs in that bat to Davis at the top of the strike zone. The only one was that pitch that missed just off the plate that the Falmouth dugout wanted. So clearly the scouting report is try to beat him with the heater upstairs. Brody Briggs was 0 for 1 against the starter Jeremy Urena, and he skies one high and deep to center field. Antonio Morales into the left center field gap, reaches up and makes the catch to retire the side. The Harbor Hawks leave Charlie Bates on first base, a 7-0 Commodores lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
This week we've been working a lot with doing play-by-plays, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff with sports broadcasting, which I never really realized how much went into it, but it's been really cool.
They've grown a lot. I've never really done like a program like this before, so like seeing all the behind-the-scenes has like really grown.
I've learned how to really just gain confidence in my play-by-play speaking, and I've learned more terms here when it comes to directing and producing. And I've just had a great time with John Rook.
Doing the play-by-play stuff and all that, being with a guy like John Rook, understanding what like the major kind of entails doing this camp, just really a preview for what you do here at Dean or any other college doing broadcasting. So I'm definitely more prepared to make this a job of mine.
Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, a 7-0 Commodores lead as we're joined in the broadcast booth by Giovanni Collada. And Hunter Dietz back out on the hill for Hyannis. He's going to face 4-5-6 for the Commodores.
More terms here when it comes to directing and producing, and I've just had a great time with John Rook.
Doing the play-by-play stuff and all that, being with a guy like John Rook, understanding what like the major kind of entails doing this camp, just really a preview for what you do here at Dean or any other college doing broadcasting. So I'm definitely more prepared to make this a job of mine.
Here in the bottom of the 5th inning, a 7-0 Commodores lead as we're joined in the broadcast booth by Giovanni Collada. And Hunter Dietz back out on the hill for Hyannis. He's going to face 4-5-6 for the Commodores. Bear Harrison, Justin Osterhaus, Adrian Lopez. This part of the order, Gio, has been nails for Jared Saltalamacchia.
It's where a lot of these runs have come from, and Max, it's all come because of Falmouth's own credit. A lot of stolen bases in this part of the lineup with a couple of singles to go along with that homer from Mike Anu, the leadoff man. But Falmouth has done what it's needed to tonight to tag the Harbor Hawks for a lot of runs, and that's something we haven't seen from the Commodores really in the last 6 games.
The Commodores, a team that has struggled with strikeouts, and Carson Yassa, a guy who came into this game with a 12.2 strikeouts per 9, but he only punched out 1 in those 2 2/3 innings. He did walk 3. There was 3 wild pitches and an error in there, but largely Jared Saltalamacchia's squad did a good job of manufacturing runs and just getting base hits. I mean, 6 hits on the starter, Yassa, a guy who's known for his swing and miss stuff.
Uncharacteristic of what we've seen from Carson Yassa at points this season, but in the last 3 starts, Max, as you mentioned, he's struggled with a fastball that tops at 99 or has topped at 99 this season, just hasn't possessed the same command with that pitch as he had with so much fervor earlier in the season.
Bear Harrison takes ball 1 from Dietz. 2 quabs for him, a single back in the 2nd, and then a sac fly to the second baseman, Jeff Luigi, in the 3rd. It was one of those that was in no man's land, and Sawyer Black, who you'd want to field that with his momentum coming in, wasn't able to get to. 1-0 from Hunter Dietz is at the knees, count level at 1. So Luigi caught it kind of with his momentum going exactly the wrong direction from the plate, and an easy score for Antonio Morales. 1-1 the count to Harrison, and there's a chopper to shortstop. Jake Schaffner charges it on the high hop to first, and it's in time. 6-3 gets us started here in the 5th.
Those are the kinds of plays for Hyannis that should be routine but just haven't been tonight, Max. And surprisingly, only 2 errors for Hyannis, given as much damage occurred in those second and third innings. But again, that's a credit to Falmouth with 3 stolen bases across those frames, 5 for the game.
Well, Schaffner, that error back in the 4th inning was his 3rd of the summer. Ties him for the team lead on the infield at least. And the first pitch misses away to Justin Osterhaus, guy who's picked up hits in each of his first 2 at-bats tonight. 1-0 misses well inside. 2 balls in, no strikes to the left-handed hitting Osterhaus. He's been an everyday guy for Falmouth, and he breaks his bat and rolls one to Jeff Luigi. Another charge, and he throws against the grain in time. Couple ground outs for Hunter Dietz to get us started here in the 5th.
He's looked really comfortable now, retiring his last 4 batters in a row. Also strands Micah New, who had that home run in the 3rd inning in his prior frame of work. And win or lose tonight, this could be the resurgence that Hunter Dietz needs to progress through the rest of the season.
Of course, in a game like this, Hyannis is going to be looking to do anything they can to come back, but this is also almost experiment time for Mitch Carricker to see what pitchers are working. Especially as we get near the postseason, should the Harbor Hawks clinch a spot, they're trying to find out who they have and what assets available. Adrian Lopez checks his swing on a ball upstairs, 1-0.
That magic number for Hyannis to clinch that postseason spot is 3. Of course, that could be in flux tonight with Falmouth in 5th, 5 points behind Hyannis entering the game.
1-0 to Lopez, skips in to the backstop. 2 balls in, no strikes to the USC Trojan.
And to that point, Max, with the magic number still being 3, Mitch Carricker is going to have to play the balancing act here of we could try to go for the clinch. Obviously, we've got to win games to get there, but also got to try some things out.
2-0 fastball, down in the dirt, 3 balls in, no strikes. And for Dietz, a guy who came in with 8 walks in 8 innings. He hasn't walked anybody so far, but this is kind of what we've seen in the past, and this is what he's tried to avoid today. As the 3-0 fastball misses well downstairs, that actually skips to the backstop. A 4-pitch walk to Adrian Lopez, and not one of those pitches all too close.
And there we've seen what Hunter Dietz, or rather the opposite of what Hunter Dietz has shown in certainly the last 4 batters, but to start this 5th inning. Fastball command, good location with the breaking ball on the outside corners, still challenging a dangerous hitter in Adrian Lopez, at least in this game. He's got a couple of stolen bases so far, too, so we could see a 3rd here with 2 outs.
Reese Maroney, who has singled in both his times up to the plate, already for the 3rd time tonight, and the first pitch gets away. Another wild pitch as Lopez takes second.
5 straight balls for Dietz, and Max, as you said, not particularly close with any of them. Missing low and outside, low and inside, and that lack of zone command has plagued him, and now Falmouth with a 2-out rally.
Already the 4th wild pitch as Lopez is taken off for 3rd, and Hunter Dietz balks. Adrian Lopez playing mind games, and Hunter Dietz threw over to 3rd, but he didn't step off the mound.
Just a bit too early there. Dietz saw it happening. Adrian Lopez got a tremendous jump off the bag before Dietz was a bit into his come set and ready to pitch. Pitch clock was a bit low, but he had the time.
1-0 fastball finally catches the zone. Count level at 1. So Lopez doesn't pick up his 3rd stolen base of the game because it was the balk. But now 4 wild pitches, a balk, 4 walks, 2 errors. It's really stacked up for the Harbor Hawks. A squib down the first base line. That's going to touch down for a base hit. Lopez comes in to score. Maroney's around first. He's on his way to second, but he'll throw the brakes on now as Sawyer Black cleans it out. An RBI single for Reese Maroney, his 3rd RBI single at as many times up to the plate.
And that's why they've been so dangerous tonight, Max. Exactly why Hyannis is losing 8-0 now in this game, because free passes occur early in innings. When you get these singles, especially with 2 outs, if you're Falmouth, they're going to have that much more of an effect.
Caden Brumba, who picked up an RBI himself back in the 2nd on a ground out, up for the 3rd time He faced Yasa once, and he was the first hitter to face Hunter Dietz, and he swings through a first ball, 0-1. 5 different Commodores have picked up a ribby this game alone. We're only in the bottom of the 5th inning as well. 0 to Brumba. Misses well inside. Count level at 1 with Maroney still on first base. It's now 7 hits to Hyannis' 1. And Hyannis' 1 hit came back in the first inning. That 2-out double by Jeff Luigi. Dietz out of the stretch. And he blows a fastball by Brumba. And jumps into an advantage count. A ball and 2 strikes. Commodores 3 for 7 with RASP tonight. On a 1-2. Brumba takes down in the dirt. A nice stop from Brody Briggs. That'll keep Maroney at bay at first base. But a lot of these misses just not really to where you'd want it, especially if you're trying to entice a swing.
And there, Hunter Dietz just negated that challenge fastball to pick up a second strike.
Count level at 2. And a fastball is elevated for ball 3. So that'll give Maroney a start at first base. A 7 or an 8-0 Commodores lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's been all Falmouth, a team that has been spiraling out of control. 3-2 offering is hammered foul down the first base line. We'll do it again. Of course, Falmouth coming into this game having lost 6 straight. Hyannis, honestly, at least in terms of how the month of July has gone, among one of the better stretches. But still, not dominant, not great, not what we saw in June from these Harbor Hawks. Again, Maroney will be on the move. The 3-2 to Brumba. Misses downstairs, ball 4. Second walk of the inning and outing for Hunter Dietz. And another free pass for the Harbor Hawks.
And there, uncompetitive misses, just the thorn in his side. Goes ahead in the count with a challenge fastball on a 1-2 count. He spikes one in the dirt. Then he has a miss that was more competitive, Max, with a miss high and inside at the letters. But then that 4th ball of the count, nowhere close.
Number 9 man Chris Newstrom, 0 for 2 today with a strikeout back in the 4th. He was the first strikeout victim for Hunter Dietz. With 2 on and 2 down, 1 run home here in the inning. And a wild swing at the first pitch, 0-1. Newstrom and Ken Schmidt, the only Commodores not to reach base tonight. The 7 other hitters have reached for Jared Saltalamacchia. 0-1 offering, straightens him up on the fastball inside. 1-1. Three runs in the second, 4 in the third, and then 1 so far and counting here in the 5th. It's contributed to the 8-0 Commodores advantage. And the 1-1 changeup misses downstairs. 2 balls and a strike to Chris Newstrom.
The fastball worked well for Hunter Dietz to induce the weak contact on those groundouts to begin the inning. And then he's got more uncompetitive misses to the tune of 2 walks and a single.
2-1 pitch. Fouled straight back to the screen. Count level at 2. I mean, this is a game that Falmouth has put a lot of pressure on Hyannis, not only with the base hits, but the consistent walks, the stolen bases. 4 stolen bases for the Commodores tonight. A team that honestly hasn't stolen too many bags, especially during the skid that they're on. 2 on, 2 outs, and a 2-2 pitch. The offering, upstairs ball 3. Another 3-ball count for Hunter Dietz, and that streak of wildness that we've seen in his 8 innings coming into today. Of course, 8 walks in those 8 frames coming to fruition here in the 5th. Both runners will be on the move. Maroney on second, Brumba on first. The payoff coming up to Chris Newstrom. Lefty kicks and fires, and a chopper high to Miles Davis. He will tag the runner, Reese Maroney, out to end the inning. Falmouth grabs another run here in the bottom of the 5th inning. They take an 8-0 lead as we head to the 6th.
Your future begins at Dean College.
Make a difference.
Leave your mark.
Break the mold.
Be a leader.
Achieve unimagined heights.
Believe in yourself. Make lifelong friends.
This is your time.
Your place.
Your home. Your Dean.
It all starts here at Dean College.
8-0 Commodores, the advantage here at Gov Fuller Field. We're now in the top of the 6th inning, and Hyannis got the bottom of the order 9-1-2 due up with Sawyer Black, Owen Prince, Jake Schaffner. They're going to face the reliever, Everett Garber, for the first time tonight, who was one above the minimum in the 5th. Had one walk to Charlie Bates, but then got a strikeout of Miles Davis, a fly out of Brody Briggs. And this is a game so far where all the momentum lies in the Commodores' favor.
And it feels like it's been tied up over the last 6 games where Falmouth has not only lost all 6, but has lost it in different ways. The first 3 losses were 1 or 2 run losses, kind of where Falmouth was in it and didn't scrape the runs to get together at that right time. But the last 3 losses for Falmouth have been blowouts, including a 7-run loss to YD last night. Feels like all those runs are now coming out in this game.
Sawyer Black was a strikeout victim. The only strikeout victim against the starter, Jeremy Urena. The guy on the hill, Everett Garber, did pick up a punch-out against Miles Davis last inning. First pitch bender is on the inside corner to the UNC Diamond Heel, 0-1. Black, a guy who's had some starts few and far between, but he's made an impact when he has been in the lineup. 0-1 the count. And the pitch from Garber as a changeup swung through, pulled the string, 0-2.
Sawyer certainly made an impact last night with that 2-run blast in the second, but to return to Jeremy Urena's start, just one above the minimum for 4 innings. And that's as much as you can discredit Hyannis for what they've lacked at the plate tonight. Credit the Falmouth starter as well.
0-2 pitch to Black, misses low, a ball and 2 strikes. And Urena kind of an example that you don't need to strike guys out to be successful. I mean, we keep coming back to only 21 walks and 80 2/3 innings at Rhode Island. That's just a 2.3 walks per 9. 1-2 to Black upstairs, count level at 2. Comes in, shoves against the Harbor Hawks, no walks. And he came into this appearance, this start for Falmouth with a 1.8 walks per 9, which will surely be dropping.
And he did it by inducing weak contact with just that 1 strikeout and 1 hit allowed.
2-2 to Black. Takes inside, ball 3. Garber, a guy that Saltalamacchia is going to try to ride out. This is only appearance 3, but he's pitched in 8 innings, so long relief. Loaded count. The 3-2 offering is launched to left center field on a line. Justin Osterhaus has no play, it's foul.
Especially if Garber can get Falmouth to get to the 7th inning and Falmouth's bats are able to scrape across 2 more, that would forego the final 6 outs of the game.
On a 3-2, Black flies one, foul, off to the left, out of play. Staying alive in this at-bat, and he's been seeing a lot of pitches. That was the 7th of this plate appearance. Of course, Hyannis' Miles Davis, a 9-pitch strikeout, but all that does do is allow him to report back to his teammates what he saw. 3-2 once more. Is swung on and missed, or did he get a piece of it? It gets a big piece of Bear Harrison, and Jake Brick to the home plate umpire. Some much-needed professional courtesy will walk a baseball out to the mound. That one got him flush.
Looks like it bounced right in and hit him somewhere on that lower body. And just absolutely dropped the helmet and sprung back. Almost somersaulted backward, if you could picture that. In a lot of pain.
Still giving him some time. For Harrison, this is game number 25, so Saltalamacchia has asked a lot of his backstop. Once more, a 3-2 to Black. Fouled back to the screen. We do it again.
This is a great at-bat for Sawyer Black, a guy that's struggled with strikeouts here on the Cape. He struck out in each of his first 5 games, and his multiple strikeouts in each of his last 2 appearances. Of course, that home run last night, so he did make an impact.
The 3-2 once more. Takes outside ball 4. Sawyer Black earns a base, as that was the 10th pitch of that plate appearance, and a good start to the 6th for Hyannis.
And when the Harbor Hawks have played their best baseball, it's no surprise, Max, that that's what they do a lot. Not only walks, but walks where they have to earn it, because pitchers don't hand them things like that a lot. Of course, not as often as Hyannis pitchers probably hand it to the other teams. Make no mistake that Black earned that one through and through.
Flips it over to the top of the order, Owen Prince for the 3rd time tonight. Speed on first, speed at the plate, and the first pitch is a bender down low from Garber. Of course, Prince 3rd in the NCAA in steals at VMI this past spring, but as he said, he hasn't really had the chance to showcase it yet. 1-0, misses up and away. 2 balls and no strikes to the left-hand hitting Prince.
Just 1 stolen base on the summer so far for Owen Prince, who came from the Coastal Plain League, where he continued those stealing ways, but also showed his ability to hit consistently with an average over 300.
2-0, a fastball is fouled off the mask of Harrison, who's had a tough inning behind the plate. Falmouth really with their back against the wall, as this is 5 games left in the regular season, including tonight. 2-1 coming up to Prince, and it misses well outside ball 3.
Cannot be understated how significant it is for the Commodores in their playoff push. The fact that this sort of explosive performance is coming against the Harbor Hawks. Not only a team it hasn't beaten all season, but a team it's chasing for that final playoff spot.
3-1 offering to Prince. Catches the outside corner, went to the backdoor breaking ball, and Garber runs it full.
And Hyannis' magic number is 3, but Falmouth likely needs to win every game to give itself a comfortable chance of making it.
Black not running on 3-2, and Prince chops it to second base, charged by Reese Maroney. He tries to tag Black. They say he didn't get him. The throw to first just gets Prince by half a step. Sawyer Black is convinced as he stands on second base.
And the umpires will have a meeting to talk it over. But what a smart play by Reese Maroney, knowing that Owen Prince has got incredible speed and would likely beat out any sort of fielder's choice, especially given where that ball was, right in the middle of first and second base. Jared Saltalamacchia having a word with first base umpire Jeff Kinney. Sawyer Black still stands on second base, and credit to him for getting out of the way of the tag, but that is the absolute right play from Reese Maroney.
And Jeff Kinney going to get all the umpires together. Well, here we go. Saltalamacchia, some words, at least induces a meeting of the minds from the umpires. But Kinney, of course, the best angle right there. He's right on the field, sizing it up.
Really difficult to overturn any call in this league without replay review, and of course that one will stay indeed. And Sawyer Black, give him all the credit. Nice job to get out of the way of the tag. And Owen Prince, with that blistering speed, commands respect from a defense, and he got it there.
Jake Schaffner for the 3rd time tonight. Both times up he faced the starter, Jeremy Urena. So facing Garber for the first time. And the first pitch skips in. That'll get to the backstop. Sawyer Black takes third base. Well, we've seen 4 Hyannis wild pitches. There's 1 for the Commodores.
And it's got now Sawyer Black 90 feet from a first run. First base runner for Hyannis tonight to get over to third. And now a threat here in the top of the 6th. Another thing to note here, Max, a bit of a push shift from the infield on Jake Schaffner.
Schaffner ahead 1-0. The offering from Garber. Upstairs by the letters, 2 balls and no strikes. We're only 2 walks in 8 innings entering this relief appearance for Garber. So he's been in the strike zone pretty consistently, but he's been a bit wild so far. Already 2 walks in the appearance. And the 2-0 is ripped to center field. Antonio Morales to his left sizes it up and makes the catch. And Black comes home. A sac fly for Jake Schaffner, and Hyannis is on the board. It's 8-1.
Well, Schaffner continues to be productive, and you can see the effect of Sawyer Black's walk on this inning. Had to earn it, 10 pitches, dodges out of the way of the tag, then the wild pitch advances him to third, and Schaffner does his job at the plate, and it's still an uphill battle for Hyannis, but its hottest hitters coming up to the plate soon.
Bases wiped, 2 outs, a run home. Jeff Luigi takes the first pitch at the top of the zone. No balls and a strike. Luigi, that double back in the first. He grounded out to first base in the fourth. Behind in the count 0-1. Garber kicks and fires. And a breaking ball misses low. 1-1 the count to Luigi. Back-to-back Cape League All-Stars for Mitch Carricker and Luigi, and the guy on deck, Ryan McKay. 1-1 offering. Foul to our left. And Garber jumps into the advantage count. 8-1 Falmouth here in the top of the sixth. Hyannis finally scratches a run across. Long pause on the hill for Garber. Now the righty comes home. And Luigi gets one on the hands and fouls it off to the left and out of play. He'll buy another pitch, and Garber's really had to work in this frame.
Tired him out a bit with that first leadoff walk from Sawyer Black. 10 pitches. Schaffner makes quick work of the sac fly. Now Luigi giving him trouble here.
Pitch 42 coming up, misses away, 2-2. Count even at 2. And the offering from Garber swung through, strike 3. Jeff Luigi down on strikes for the first time tonight. Hyannis gets one across. An 8-1 Commodores lead as we head to the bottom of the sixth.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
New pitcher on the mound for Hyannis after Hunter Dietz's day is done. It's Henry Chabot, and he's only making an appearance. Number 2, 1 1/3 innings. It was scoreless, and he looked really strong. No walks in that, no strikeouts, so he's just getting quick contact, but that'll close the book on Hunter Dietz.
And Dietz stretches 2 1/3 in relief of Carson Yassa, allows one hit, but does allow Falmouth to scrape a run across. He walked 2 and struck out 1. And for a guy out of Arkansas, Max, that didn't pitch a ton for the Razorbacks, he's still struggling in his early outings here on the Cape.
Well, Chabot, an incoming transfer to USC, so he'll join forces with Adrian Lopez of the Commodores. But out of Chapman, so kind of a local to local. Chapman, of course, in Orange County, USC, up north in L.A. And Micah New leading off. He's reached all 3 times, but last time up it was on an error. The guy who connected on his 8th home run of the summer. Back in the 3rd inning. So you got the starter, Yassa, the right-hander, Dietz, the left-hander. Now you're switching it back to the righty. As we mentioned, Falmouth, the worst hitting team against right-handed pitchers, specifically a 198 team batting average. But that wasn't the case for Yassa, at least. First pitch to Mike Anu from Chabot is fouled off to the right. Kind of the ambush tactic on a first pitch breaking ball.
You tag a guy for 6 hits, Max, that at one point was top 5 in the Cape League in ERA in Yassa.
and has easily been, at least on the active roster, Hyannis' most consistent starting pitcher.
Head on the count 0-1. The pitch from Chabot misses away. Back-to-back breaking balls to open up to Micah New. So the one appearance for Chabot was against Harwich on the 23rd. One hit. Did allow a run, but it wasn't earned. And a 1-1 challenge fastball. Swung through from Micah New. New, of course, going to be transferring to Arkansas from Mercer. At one point, the Cape League leader in OPS by a comfortable margin. That has dipped below 900. Kind of coincided with the slump that the Commodores have had. Spits on a breaking ball down low, and the count level at 2. An 8-1 Commodores lead now in the bottom of the 6th here at Guv Fuller Field. An even count at 2 with Chabot working from the stretch. Now the righty kicks and fires. And a chopper over to our right. We'll do it again.
And if Falmouth is going to make a run for the final playoff spot in the West, Micah New is going to be a big part of it. So to get this production from him at the top of the order, this is the first time Hyannis has seen him in the leadoff spot. Saltalamacchia has got himself a stalwart at the top of the lineup.
2-2 in the air to center, and that's going to dunk down for a base hit. Micah New picks up his second hit of the night. And a good start for the Commodores here in the 6th.
It's a great piece of hitting from a great hitter. Challenge breaking ball over the middle. Goes for the wipeout, Max. And New just muscles it over the head of Jake Schaffner at short. Rally starter at the top of the lineup.
Tony Morales getting his 4th look tonight. Walked back in the 3rd. He did score, but besides that, he grounded to a 6-3 unassisted double play and grounded out to Gabe Camacho. And the first pitch is a ball outside from Chabot. Did not play collegiately this past spring, so really his first action in over a year this summer. Check over at first, and Micah New is back head first. Fastball, slider, curveball, changeup for Chabot. But he's really heavy on the breaking ball. We saw that to Michael New. There's another one right there, but it misses well outside. 2 balls and no strikes. And I guess we could come back to the whole idea of course, Hyannis is going to try to come back in this game, but this is the time for Mitch Carricker to see what his guys in the bullpen have for him as we approach the postseason. On a 2-0, Morales takes a fastball that clips the outer black. 2 balls and a strike to the left-handed hitter.
It's especially the case when you consider who Mitch Carricker relieved Carson Yassa with. Hunter Dietz has gotten into a lot of games, but is still struggling to find his rhythm. And Henry Chabot has only pitched 1 1/3 this season for Hyannis.
2-1. Slider clips the outer black. The Falmouth dugout did not approve. The count level at 2. And at least Jake Brichta calling that outside corner to lefties pretty consistently tonight. New on first. Nobody out in the inning. An 8-1 Commodores lead here in the 6th. 2-2 fastball well away from Chabot. The count runs full. First action on the Cape. He was previously with the Green Bay Rockers of the Northwoods League in back-to-back summers in 2023 and 2024. New runs on 3-2, and Morales fouls it off his shin guard. So some pretty lengthy plate appearances so far, and they're just seeing a lot of him on the mound, and that's going to be good for the scouting report to the guys in the dugout.
Well, certainly on Falmouth's side, but I'll add Mitch Carricker's side to that as well. It allows him and Blaise Martinez, the pitching coach, to see what's working for Henry Chabot, what's not working as he looks to get more run ahead of a potential postseason berth for Hyannis.
We'll see if New runs again. Chabot had that idea. He tosses over to first base and ahead of the tag from Gabe Camacho. 8 hits for the Commodores, just 1 for the Harbor Hawks, and that came back in the first inning. New not running. Now he is. He's starting to stop, and the pitch misses downstairs, ball 4. Chabot's first walk of the summer is walk number 6 tonight.
Just too low for Brody Briggs to spring out of the crouch and put as good a throw on that would have been required for Micah New, who now is putting together one of his best nights in a season full of them with his second stolen base.
Ken Schmidt, only one of 2 to not reach base for the Commodores tonight. The other guy, Chris Newstrom, the number 9 man, but Schmidt here in the 3-hole. With 2 on and nobody out. First pitch misses away. We've already seen a couple double steal attempts from the Commodores tonight. Micah New on second, Antonio Morales on first. An 8-1 Falmouth lead in the last of the 6th inning. Chabot has his sign. Now the righty kicks and fires. Fastball misses away. 2 balls and no strikes, and that's now back-to-back hitters. He's fallen behind 2-0.
Walked Antonio Morales with a couple of uncompetitive misses to start that count, and now with a dangerous hitter in Ken Schmidt, he's on the fast track to doing so again.
2-0 offering. Downstairs for ball 3.
And Falmouth has got a ton of leeway here with no outs, and its best hitters due up. Bear Harrison, Justin Osterhaus, and Adrian Lopez have all reached base tonight.
2 on, nobody out. The 3-0 coming up to Ken Schmidt. And it's launched to left center field. Long run for Charlie Bates. He will not get there. New comes in to score. Morales is getting the wave. The throw is cut off. It's a 2-run double for Ken Schmidt. And Falmouth takes a 10-1 lead here in the last of the 6th inning.
Just a rocket off the bat of Kent Schmidt. Going the other way as well. That's a lot of muscle to get that ball in deep into the left center field alley, a couple feet shy of leaving the yard, exactly where Micah New did. And great jumps from New and Morales, who scores all the way from first after the walk, as Bates was cheating towards the third base line and had to make the long run to the heart of the alley to get that ball and cut it off.
Bear Harrison with Ken Schmidt still in scoring position. Nobody out in the inning. First pitch skips in. Nice block by Brody Briggs. That's now 6 different Commodores to pick up an RBI tonight, and we're in the 6th inning. There have been a lot of free passes, but they've also largely hit Hyannis well. 9 hits for the Commodores. A look back at second. Now the 1-0 coming up to Bear Harrison. Pitch misses well upstairs, ball 2. So now 3 consecutive hitters that Chabot has fallen behind. 2 balls and no strikes.
8 of the 9 Commodores have reached base tonight. The lone man not to Chris Newstrom, the 9-hole. If he's due up in this inning, it means trouble for Henry Chabot.
On a 2-0, Harrison takes a fastball elevated for ball 3. Chabot, a kind of a streak of wildness now, and this is a Hyannis team that has already walked 6. They've committed 2 errors and 4 wild pitches. It's been one of those nights for Mitch Carricker's squad. 3-0 with Schmidt on second. Slider misses downstairs, ball 4, a 4-pitch walk.
Up the tally to 7 right there. And for Mitch Carricker, this is exactly the game he's dreaded during the lowest points of July for Hyannis when it lost 5 games in a row. What was at one point a Cape League long losing streak for any team before Falmouth lost 6 in a row coming into the game. And what was the spark plug for that, Max? Exactly what we're seeing here tonight. Free passes left and right for a Hyannis team that absolutely can't afford them at this point in the season.
Well, Blaze Martinez going out to talk to Henry Chabot.
6 in a row coming into the game. And what was the spark plug for that, Max? Exactly what we're seeing here tonight. Free passes left and right for a Hyannis team that absolutely can't afford them at this point in the season.
Well, Blaze Martinez going out to talk to Henry Chabot. He started the inning with a leadoff single to Micah New, and you got to give credit where it's due. New worked that. That was a 9-pitch at bat. Then the walk to Morales. The 2-run double from Kent Schmidt that scored New and Morales from first base. Then the 4-pitch walk to Bear Harrison. It's kind of just spiraling out of control for Mitch Carricker here tonight at Gov Fuller Field. 10-1 Falmouth in the bottom of the 6th. Osterhaus at the plate for the 4th time tonight. He picked up singles in his first 2 plate appearances, and then he grounded out back in the 5th inning. And he swings through the first pitch. Bender, 0-1. That fastball for Chabot topping out at 94, but he's a first pitch slider guy. He's a slider dominant pitcher, I should say. 2 on, nobody out. An 0-1 coming up to Osterhaus. And he reaches for it and taps it foul behind the plate.
Chabot looking for anything that works in this inning. Hasn't yet to record an out. It's faced 4 batters already in this bottom of the 6th. Of course, Falmouth scraped a run across. But goes slider to begin this count to Justin Osterhaus, because that's the pitch he leans on the most, and it worked for him so far.
Look back at Schmidt. Now he fires. The 0-2, tap foul at the plate. Adrian Lopez waiting on deck. Of course, Chabot, the incoming transfer to USC, will be teammates with Lopez, the Trojan. But all that doesn't matter now, as he's trying to get outs for Mitch Carricker. Kind of a nightmare game here in Falmouth. Hyannis, of course, 4-0 in the first 4 meetings. And Falmouth has risen to the occasion so far in Game 5. 0-2, a wild swing and a miss from Justin Osterhaus. Down in the dirt. First strikeout of the day for Chabot. And it's a big one, as that ground ball double play is in order to potentially end the inning.
Just the second of the game, or rather the third of the game for Hyannis. Still a shockingly low number, given that the Harbor Hawks still lead the Cape League in strikeouts despite this tumultuous month of July.
Adrian Lopez has reached all 3 times, the first time a fielder's choice, but then the last 2 on walks. How about 2 stolen bases in this game? First pitch, he cues it foul off the end of the bat over by the Falmouth dugout first base way. Lopez only 4 stolen bases in 58 games for Andy Stakowitz and the Trojans this past spring. 2 tonight. With Schmidt on second, Harrison on first. The 0-1 offering. A wild swing and a miss. 0-2 as Chabot, at least after that mound visit, seems to have found his bearings a bit. Lopez, a Cape League All-Star, but he's really struggled as of late. That batting average has dipped to under 200. OPS south of 540. 0-2 offering. Reached for and poked through the right side into right field. A base hit. Ken Schmidt will be stopped at third base. They play station to station as the bases are filled with Commodores. With Reese Maroney coming up.
And arguably the most dangerous hitter in this lineup, not named Micah New, in Reese Maroney, with a trio of singles in this game and a run scored, along with a couple of RBIs. Double play ball still in effect for Hyannis, though, with just 1 out.
3 at-bats, 3 singles, 3 RBI for Maroney. The base is juiced. Chabot comes home. Maroney takes a slider downstairs. A ball and no strikes. And Maroney came into this game 1 for 8. So kind of turning that narrative on its head right here. A late ad for the Commodores. 1-0, fastball. Clips the top of the zone. And the count level at a ball and a strike apiece to the right-handed hitting Maroney. Schmidt at third, Harrison on second, Lopez on first. 1 out in the inning and 2 runs home for the Commodores. On a 1-1, Maroney takes it upstairs. A similar location to that last pitch, but this one doesn't get the call from Jake Brichta. And the count swings into the hitter's favor. 2 balls and a strike.
In any other situation, that's a miss that Henry Chabot is okay with. Just not as favorable with the bases loaded.
Nowhere to put Maroney. The 2-1 offering is swung through. Changed the speed with the breaking ball. And Maroney's eyes got big. So back to a 2-strike count. And as mentioned, only 3 strikeouts on the day for Hyannis. A team that came into this game leading the Cape League with 338 strikeouts. The next closest team YD at 317. Long pause. Now the 2-2. Breaking ball misses low. Ball 3.
And it's no wonder with that fact that the scoreboard shows what it does, given that Hyannis has also dished out a plethora of free passes tonight. Strikeouts usually the saving grace for when Hyannis has done that this year.
10 hits for the Commodores in the 6th inning only. 3-2 is in the air to right field. Sawyer Black drifting over towards the line. Makes the catch. Ken Schmidt's coming home. So is the throw. It is cut off by Gabe Camacho. And another run for the Commodores, an 11-1 lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. How about 4 at-bats, 4 stakes for Reese Maroney?
Pretty solid day.
Caden Brumba with runners at the corners and 2 outs as Harrison moved up to third base. First pitch, fastball, clips the outer black, 0-1. Infield finally moves back. Outfield and no doubles defense, and the bender on the inside corner fell straight back to the screen. Brumba walked back in the 5th inning, lined out in the 3rd and grounded out, picked up an RBI back in the 2nd. Behind 0-2, it skips in, and another runner will move up 90 feet as Lopez takes up to second base. The 5th wild pitch of the game for Hyannis. One-two is golf to center. That's in for a base hit. Harrison scores. Here comes Lopez. A 2-run single for Caden Brumba. And Falmouth, a 13-1 lead.
Commodores a bit mad at Hyannis for 4 straight wins over Falmouth, and now Mitch Carricker comes out to likely pull Henry Chabot from this game. A troublesome 6th inning, but not all to his discredit, as Falmouth has got itself a couple of nice pieces of hitting, especially that one from Adrian Lopez to dig that pitch below his knees.
Well, that will do it for Henry Chabot. He's not able to complete an inning. He goes 2/3 and allows a couple runs. We'll meet the new pitcher on the other side of this break.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Well, it was a tough outing for Henry Chabot. Of course, the day not finished, but so far, 2/3 of an inning. 4 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 2 walks. And Justin Minneberry's the new pitcher for the Harbor Hawks.
Minneberry making his second appearance. He got in on the 26th against Chatham, came in for the top of the 9th inning, did strike out 2 while stranding a couple along the base paths, and got it to the bottom of the 9th for Hyannis, a chance to win the game. Didn't do so as Chatham ended up with the win. But another guy from a low-level college at Indian River State, rising sophomore, pitched in 16 games and put together a 2.35 ERA, but again, Max, as we talked about when he came in that Chatham game, hasn't faced a ton of top-level competition, just like a guy like Henry Chabot wouldn't have at Chapman. Of course, he's headed to USC. But Minneberry now facing not only the best of the best, but a Falmouth lineup that is red hot and ready to flip the order in this inning.
And a Falmouth team that has multiple guys with multiple RBIs. It's been a kind of a widespread slaughter in a way. Of course, a lot of freebies for Hyannis. I mean, you count the walks. 7 walks, 5 wild pitches, 2 errors. And Chris Newstrom coming up.
Free passes, Max, can be earned and not solely given. Of course, a lot of them have been given by Hyannis to Falmouth tonight. That's to go along with Falmouth's 11 hits and 13 runs. So the Commodores have earned it.
Newstrom, now the only guy in the Falmouth lineup not to reach base. Brumba on first. Minneberry comes home. First pitch fastball misses well upstairs. A ball and no strikes. On a 1-0. Newstrom swings to a fastball. Count level at 1. Minneberry, another late ad for Hyannis. He's only pitched in 1 inning this year, 1 game. 2 walks. It was kind of one of those hectic ones. He didn't give up a run, but a spell of wildness, but he was able to recover. One front door breaking ball. Misses up and in. 2 balls and a strike. 3 runs in the second, 4 in the third, 1 in the fifth, and now 5 here in the sixth for Falmouth, and 11 hits on the day. It's been a combination of Falmouth beating Hyannis and then also issuing a lot of freebies. Newstrom ahead 2-1, looking to reach base for the first time tonight, and he shoots one foul off to the right. Count level at 2. Falmouth team, especially during this 6-game losing streak, which will most likely end tonight, the offense has just not been there. As you mentioned, a kind of a blowout loss to YD last night at Red Wilson Field. With their back against the wall, this is exactly what Jared Saltalamacchia needed. Even count at 2-2. Minneberry in the stretch. Now the righty kicks and fires. Reached for and poked to shortstop. Jake Schaffner flips the short way to second base. To end the inning, a 13-1 Falmouth advantage. We head to the top of the 7th.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Well, with a 13-1 advantage for Falmouth, Mitch Carricker is going to make some changes, and it's starting immediately. Dayton LaChance has come out for Ryan McKay to lead it off. Might be the first of a couple changes. Of course, we can't see past the first hitter due up, but for this one for Hyannis, it's just about putting together good at-bats.
Putting together good at-bats with players that will need to take at-bats in these sorts of spots. Late innings, maybe not expecting to play, but you come into a spot like this where you'd obviously like the score to not be as lopsided as it is, but make no mistake that these at-bats can still be critical for a guy like Dayton LaChance, who has caught a ton for Hyannis this season and has, oddly enough, struggled when catching at the plate. Meanwhile, as a DH, he comes into this at-bat as he's taking over for the DH and Ryan McKay, 5 of 13 with 3 doubles and a single. And 2 singles, rather.
Dane LaChance, who missed out on the big hit a couple times last night, looking for a little revenge here against Everett Garber. First pitch, fastball up and in, 1-0. LaChance, with the bases loaded, or the tying run at third base, flew out to very deep left field at McKeon, a ball that he hammered but just had topspin. Head in the count, 1-0. The offering, swung through. Count level at 1. Gabe Camacho still on deck. It looks like Charlie Bates also in the hole, so at least those potential changes not going to happen yet. For LaChance, a late ad, and a guy who's seeing this level of competition for the first time, and a guy who hit 21 round trippers in 66 games at JUCO will be transferring along with Miles Davis to Oklahoma. It's a 1-1 bender from Garber, misses well away.
What a great precursor this is for LaChance and Davis, along with a couple of other JUCO players that are moving on to D1 programs on Hyannis, such as Devin Mitchell.
2-1 is fouled straight back to the screen.
And that just plays into the importance of these at-bats in games where the score really is out of reach. Yeah, it's important for Hyannis to get more looks at guys in the Cape League as the season comes to a close, but also to go to Oklahoma, seeing guys across the Power Four.
On a 2-2, LaChance strikes out swinging. Elevated fastball from Everett Garber. 2 outs away. Of course, the mercy rule potential intact for Falmouth. And for especially that JUCO conversation, I think JUCO is kind of the opportunity for coaches to find those diamonds in a rough because, of course, JUCO baseball, the highest level, very comparable to mid-major baseball in Division I, but a lot of those guys still overlooked. Gabe Camacho takes away for ball 1. A lot of first pitch balls from Everett Garber, but it hasn't really been a problem. He has walked 2, and of course coming into this game, 2 walks over 8 innings, but it really hasn't turned into runs. Of course, the 1 run back in the 6th on the Jake Schaffner sac fly. 1-1 to Gabe is skied a mile high on the left side in the infield. Chris Newstrom in foul territory makes the catch for out number 2.
And for Falmouth, perhaps the best part of this game, in addition to scoring 13 runs following up a 6-game losing streak, is not only the fact that the pitching staff has faced 3 above the minimum for the game, entering this what could be final at-bat of this certainly terrible loss for Hyannis, it looks like, but also it's used 2 arms throughout the entire game, and that's a big credit to Jeremy Urania and Everett Garber.
Charlie Bates takes a fastball on the inside corner, 0-1. Charlie walked back in the 5th inning, grounded out to the pitcher, the starter, Urena, in the 2nd. Only 18 games during his freshman campaign at Stanford. The 0-1, he lays off a fastball up and away, count level at 1. For a guy like Bates who didn't see time every day, this summer was just so important for him to see consistent ABs, live ABs, because there's only so much that working on your swing, BP in the cage can do. 1-1 misses low. 2 balls and a strike to Bates. 735 OPS, 1 home run in that limited sample.
He did get in 25 games for Stanford this past year, and now will return to the Cardinal with nearly 30 under his belt.
2-1, swung through. Fastball away. Falmouth 1 strike away. Of course, they're back literally against the wall right here. This is going to be a monumental win for them. Any momentum they can get. On a 2-2, Bates takes downstairs for ball 3.
Still will be an uphill battle for Falmouth. Of course, this win against Hyannis gives the Commodores a bit of an advantage, yes, going into the remainder of the slate, but also the fact that this first win against Hyannis comes when it does, with 4 games remaining after tonight.
Payoff to Bates outside ball 4. So Charlie works a walk, his 2nd of the day. Hyannis stays alive at least for another AB. And for a game like this, of course, a blowout loss, it's good to see the way that Bates, a guy who struggled walking, of course, the most strikeouts on the Harbor Hawks, finally finding ways on base, seeing a lot of pitches, and that's got to be a good sign.
His coaches at Stanford will sure take notice, never giving up despite the lopsided score.
Miles Davis up for the 3rd time tonight. A line out in the 2nd, and then a strikeout in the 5th.
And for Mitch Carricker, given the situation, this is exactly what he wanted to see. String together some good at-bats. You don't have to get it all back. You probably won't, but take it into the next game. Give yourself something for tomorrow.
1-0 fastball clips the upper corner. And account level 1.
Because the flip side of Hyannis getting its momentum back is for Hyannis now having its back against the wall in a way, with Bourne coming to McKeon Park tomorrow and then going to White House Field to face the league best Mariners.
1-1 low. There's the breaking ball from Garber. Of course, a long reliever through and through. That was pitch 59. 31 strikes, so he's kind of split halfway. Honestly, something that Jared Saltalamacchia would like to be higher. 2-1 offering. Davis lays off a slider that catches the corner. Count level at 2. Of course, Davis and LaChance will be heading to Oklahoma this upcoming fall. 2-2 outside, ball 3. So a second consecutive payoff pitch coming up. As Matthew Chattel has come out on deck, he would hit for Brody Briggs. Bates will be on the move. The 3-2 is chopped down the left field line. That's a fair ball. And it kicks all the way into the corner. Charlie Bates will be stopped at third base by Mitch Carricker. Miles Davis heads into second base. Hyannis still alive here in the 7th.
They're hanging by a thread, but again, more of Mitch Carricker, what Mitch Carricker wanted to see. String together those good at-bats, and Davis with one of his better at-bats of the season, going back and forth with Everett Garber, up over 60 pitches, and a full count offering after having only walked 2 batters for the game, rather now 3 batters. That's a really good sign for someone like Davis, who struggled at the plate.
Chattel takes well outside. A lunging grab from Bear Harrison. He's a guy who honestly hasn't played much for Mitch Carricker. He was activated on July 13th in place of Stone Lawless. Only 2 games so far. He started against Chatham, pinch hit for Brody Briggs on the 23rd against Harwich. Just haven't seen a lot of him. 1-0. Garber gets a call on the bottom of the zone. Kind of changed the arm angle there. Dropped it to a 3/4 sidearm almost.
Chattel didn't even try for it.
Bates on third. Davis on second. Chattel takes at the knees. And Hyannis once again down to their final strike.
And Chattel, who you mentioned, hasn't played a ton since arriving in Hyannis, treating this like it's his most significant at-bat of the season because he hasn't gotten a ton of them.
1-2 count. This is only the 7th AB of the summer, and Chattel lays off a breaking ball outside. I mean, for Garber, 66 pitches, 35 strikes. Right around that 50% mark. 2-2, the pitch. On the outside corner. Strike 3 called. Chattel gets the bad news from Jake Brichta. And it's a nightmare loss for the Harbor Hawks. An opportunity to go in the right direction against a Falmouth team who had lost 6 in a row coming in tonight. And Falmouth absolutely slaughters Hyannis. 13 runs on 11 hits. Hyannis 1 run on 2 hits. But it was also the game of the 3 passes for the Harbor Hawks. They walked 7, committed 2 errors, 5 wild pitches, and just kind of a messy one here tonight at Fuller Field.
That's the only way you can describe it. Nightmarish for Hyannis, especially given when it happens. 5 games left in the season, playing a Falmouth team that Hyannis had played amongst all its opponents in the Cape League this year. Near perfect baseball against the Commodores this season, and now it's Falmouth that not only regains its momentum after a 6-game losing streak, but sits in the driver's seat, at least from a momentum, or not from momentum, of course from a momentum standpoint. Maybe not yet in the record, as they're not going to pass Hyannis outright in this game. But as the West Division continues to be a crapshoot, who knows what could happen as Falmouth, coming off its worst stretch of baseball this summer, now back in the driver's seat as it goes into those final 4 games.
And how about Katuitt taking care of the first-place Harwich Mariners of the East? An 8-3 win. Bourne and Wareham tied at 3 in the 7th. Wareham, I believe they've already clinched a playoff spot.
They've clinched a playoff spot. The Gatemen still vying for first place. This becomes a very important game at Durant Park, as Bourne has obviously eliminated Hyannis in each of the last 2 postseasons. So even if the Harbor Hawks were to claw away from this defeat, and certainly have the opportunity to do so with the Braves coming to McKeon Park tomorrow, they don't want to see Bourne again with the way they've played baseball recently, trying to ease themselves into that playoff run. So make no mistake that Hyannis has his work cut out for it in these final 4 games.
Well, a 13-1 Commodores win in 7th inning here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Before we go, a couple people we'd love to thank. For our producers, Charlie Adams, Daniel Bottolino, Sam Montag, James Kluggish. For our sidelines reporters, Ava Fernandez and Ethan Wax. For my partners, Graham Nash and Giovanni Collada, I'm Max Schwartzberg saying thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.